From Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts, and for the third time this year, the Yarmouth Tennis Red Sox go toe-to-toe with the Chatham Anglers. Hello and welcome. I'm Brad Klein. Will Connolly will be with me in a moment, and Chatham and YD are back at it again. It's the third matchup of the season, and the YD Red Sox coming off, well, some success as of late, in Chatham at 1-1 on the year against the Red Sox. They go with Alex McFarland, the righty from Miami, to start off the first inning. And I say to start off the first inning because he's hardly starting the game. Usually Chatham goes with an opener. 3 innings, 3 innings, and 3 innings if all goes according to plan. But Alex McFarland, in his third appearance, deals a first pitch fastball fouled off the left heel of Peyton Graham, the Oklahoma Sooner, leading off the first inning for YD. So no balls and 1 strike to Peyton Graham. Alex McFarland working from the windup as Chatham is in their blue uniforms with white pinstripe pants, as Graham tattoos that one to deep left center field. It one-hops the wall for a base hit. Graham scurrying over to second. It's a leadoff double for Peyton Graham in the top of the first inning. Now Peyton Graham sitting on the changeup, and Alex McFarland coming into the game with an ERA of 1.5, a 1-win, no-loss record in his 2 appearances, 6 innings pitched. And again, that's that 3-inning formula. He had the 3 innings in his last appearance and 3 innings in his opener. His debut against Brewster, a 4-2 win when he got the win. So here's Wyatt Hoffman, a runner on second base and no one out in the top of the first inning. And Hoffman cracks it into center field. It falls for a base hit. Graham is being waved around third. The center fielder, Trinkle, has no throw except for the relay man. And it's a no-out RBI single for Wyatt Hoffman. 2 batters in, YD 1, Chatham none.
The catcher from Arizona State, number 12, Nate Baez.
So Wyatt Hoffman has now 4 RBIs in his past 2 at-bats. Had the go-ahead 3-run shot just yesterday in YD's 5-4 win at home against Falmouth. A runner on first, no one out. Nate Baez at the dish, and Alex McFarland checks back the runner at first base. That's Wyatt Hoffman from the University of the Pacific. Baez has cooled off recently. Once upon a time, he was scorching hot. Now hitting .273 on the year, and takes the fastball on the inside corner for strike 1. He broke an 0 for 6 yesterday when he had an RBI double in the bottom of the first inning, but he had previously been 8 for his last 19 over a 5-game stretch. His average jumped from 188 to 314, and has since simmered down as Baez golfs it foul down the third base side. So no balls and 2 strikes to Nate Baez from Arizona State. No one out in the top of the first inning. YD already leads 1-0 after Peyton Graham's double to lead things off and Wyatt Hoffman's RBI single. Left to right in the infield, Andrew Benefield, Josh Rivera, Danny Soretti, and Lyle Miller-Green at first base. Alex McFarland on the bump, and Maxwell Romero, his battery mate. Elevated fastball misses high, and Wyatt Hoffman swipes second. He thought about going to third as the throw bounced over second base. Josh Rivera, the shortstop covering, went into center field, but Caden Trinkle was backing up. So it's a ball and 2 strikes. Wyatt Hoffman stays put at second base. Still no one out, and another RBI situation for the top half of the order for YD. Nate Baez with 3 RBIs on the year. Takes the changeup high for ball 2. Now McFarland not reinventing the wheel. Fastball, changeup, slider guy. but some real run on the right-handed hitters on that fastball and the changeup. The 2-2 to Baez. Swing and a miss. He got him on the changeup, low and inside for strike 3 and out number 1 for Alex McFarland.
The first baseman from Stanford, number 26, Cody Huff.
Now, Chatham knows a thing or two about striking out opposing hitters. They struck out 19 Harbor Hawks in their last game, coming off a win against Hyannis. And that should sound like a familiar number for YD fans, too. The Red Sox just 2 games ago struck out 19 Harbor Hawks. 1 ball and no strikes now to Cody Huff, the first baseman for YD. He's been getting some reps pretty much all over the field as a DH, as a first baseman now, but typically a catcher. And the slider misses low for ball 2 to Cody Huff. So 2 staffs coming off of 19 strikeout performances against Hyannis. And now clashing here at Veterans Field. 2 balls and no strikes to Cody Huff. Wyatt Hoffman dancing off second base. McFarland from the stretch, and Huff drives that one to center field. Left center field, it tails in, and it dropped for a single. Cody Huff now thinks about second base. He'll be held up there. Wyatt Hoffman running all the way. He slides in safely. Cody Huff advances to second base. The ball goes back to the backstop. It was a wide throw over to Romero, and chaos on the field for Chatham. YD now leads 2-0 in the top of the first inning with only 1 out.
Right fielder from Long Beach State, number 6, Chase Luttrell.
So it's a single and an advance on the throw for Cody Huff. And YD wasting no time. Here's Chase Luttrell, the right fielder from Long Beach State. An opportunity to drive in his roommate. Well, the last time YD was at Veterans Field, it wasn't pretty. They scraped together 1 run. The offense really had nothing going as the fastball misses low and away for ball 1. And here they already have 2 runs on 3 hits, 4 batters in. The lone out coming via the strikeout, Nate Baez the victim. Fastball misses outside for ball 2. Left to right in the outfield, Jake DeLeo, Caden Trinkle, and Logan Britt for Chatham. And the Anglers coming into this game at 5-6-2, 4th in the East. Big swing and a miss from the Long Beach State dirtbagger Chase Luttrell, hitting, or rather playing right field today, hitting in the 5-hole. We've seen him pretty much all over that middle of the order, 3, 4, and 5. And on 2-1, Luttrell takes an identical home run cut. 2 balls and 2 strikes now as he swings through the fastball. Alex McFarland, the right-hander, 205 pounds at 6'4", junior from the University of Miami. Hoffman off of second base. The fastball misses just outside. The count is now full to Chase Luttrell, someone who routinely works the count for the Red Sox. Luttrell coming into this game hitting .213 on the year. Full count, 1 out. Runner on second base. YD up 2-0. And the fastball tails inside for ball 4. So Chase Luttrell draws the 1-out walk, and it's runners on first and second with a 2-run lead for Pascal Ferreras. Well, Ferreras potentially broke out of what seems to be a season-long slump at this point. Had a ridiculous home run as Alex McFarland already seeing a pitching, or rather a mound visit here. But Pascal Ferreras had a solo home run in yesterday's 5-4 win. And it might have been exactly what the doctor ordered for Ferreras. He even said that he's back after the game.
Will not be tolerated at our grounds for removal.
He ended up hitting 16 home runs for Western Carolina, including 7 in his final 9 games to end that scorching hot season. On the Cape, it's been slim pickings. The strikeouts have been a huge problem for him. The home run, potentially a sign of change. One out for Ferreras, and a hit batsman with one out loads the bases. It was a changeup to the spine as Ferreras turned around and braced himself. 2 consecutive free passes and 3 consecutive base runners for YD. It's now bases loaded for Drew Compton. Compton hitting a .130 on the year. Here's a guy who really has not found his groove, has not found his spot on this YD team, and his role pretty much absent. 3 for 23 on the year. He pops it foul. The first pitch fastball out of play. No balls and a strike. It's Cody Huff on third base, Littrell on second, and Pascal Ferreras on first. Still only one out. YD leads 2-0. A single by Graham and a double by Graham and a single by Hoffman to start this game got YD on the board. And then a bloop single by Cody Huff drew Hoffman home. And that one's lined down the left field line. It falls for a base hit. Cody Huff comes around to score. Chase Littrell right behind him. Pascal Ferreras pedaled to the middle, down the third base line. The throw is in time. Got him. Oh, the throw by Jake DeLeo, an absolute one-hop laser to beat the speedy Ferreras trying to go first to score. But Drew Compton ends up on second base with an RBI double, and YD leads 4-0 now with 2 outs in the top of the first inning.
Well, how about the offense breaking out in this game extremely early? Multiple extra base hits just in the first frame, and it all started with Peyton Graham, but the line has continued to produce here.
So now a runner on second base for Zach Liu, who actually got his first hit as a Red Sox yesterday. Broke an 0 for 14 slump from Cal State Fullerton, and everyone around the locker room was just surprised to see Liu struggle so mightily. He pops it foul down the right field line and out of play. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Liu now. It's 4 runs on 4 hits and counting in the top of the first inning for YD. A 1-1 count with 2 outs for Zach Liu, and a runner on second base. That's Drew Compton after the double. And McFarland steps off to check him back. It was the first extra base hit of his young Red Sox career for Drew Compton from Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. Not with much speed, very modest lead off the bat. The 1-1 swung through a shoulder-high fastball for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Zach Liu. McFarland shaking off Romero. Comes set of the belt. And the U-Miami product misses low on the fastball. So the count now even at 2-2. If Liu can keep the line moving, it would be Tyler Williams, and if that happens, YD's officially batted around. And the 2-2 to Liu. Swung on and fouled back to the screen, so we'll do it again. Now, Zach Liu has just played such a fantastic third base, which has kept him in the lineup. And everyone's just waiting for the hitting to come around. Had a fantastic first season at Cal State Fullerton. And now at 22 years old, draft eligible, it's now or never for Zach Liu. And he drives it into right center field. Hit number 2 on the season for Zach Liu will bring Drew Compton home, and the 5th run in the top of the first inning for YD. An RBI 2-out single for Zach Liu. It's 5-0 Red Sox.
The center fielder from the University of Arkansas, Little Rock.
And before the game, we were talking about how YD and the production on the road, it hasn't been the same as it had been at home, but they're coming out here on the road at Chatham and responding with a ton of vengeance after just having a slow game. Just 1 run scored last time they were here a few days ago.
Tyler Williams nubs the first pitch slider foul. Looked like it jammed him inside. So a leadoff double by Peyton Graham, then an RBI single by Wyatt Hoffman. That was the first run. Cody Huff reached on a bloop single, which ended up bringing home Wyatt Hoffman for the second run as Tyler Williams golfs it to left field. Jake DeLeo is under it to make the catch. Side retired. 5 runs on 5 hits, and it's 5-0 Red Sox. In the middle of the 5th, the YD Red Sox in the driver's seat right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Special barrels located around the park. Carolina, Dan Soretti.
Back here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Will Connerly, I'm Brad Klein. Glad to be with you in the bottom of the first inning. And oh, what a time it is to be a Red Sox fan. 5-0 Sox. After just one frame, and Nick Domkowski gifted plenty of cushion as the first pitch changeup is smacked down the left field line and out of play by Danny Soretti, the second baseman from UNC. Nick Domkowski thought he'd be starting his night around 5 or maybe 10 after 7. Not the case. First pitch for Nick Domkowski comes at 7:19. It actually, in a way, it didn't take YD very long to get those 5 runs either. No balls and 2 strikes as the fastball is at the knees, taken by Soretti. And from the windup, Domkowski's breaking ball misses low for ball 1. So Nick Domkowski in potentially his last appearance as a YD Red Sox. This is only his 3rd appearance, and if it is the final one, a bright yet beautiful career as a YD Red Sox, like a shooting star, but off to bigger and better things if in fact he is done with the draft coming up in mid-July, and the 1-2 popped foul out of play.
Yeah, just about a week away from close to potentially 100 draft-eligible players in the Cape. And Domkowski, one of those names. He's been really good in his first 2 outings.
Fouled off again to the Chatham dugout, so Soretti lives to see another pitch. We'll do it again.
And Domkowski, left-hander who throws a lot of strikes. 11 innings tossed so far this season and has yet to surrender a free pass.
6 innings against Chatham as the slider is popped down the right field line, slicing out of play and foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes still. Had 6 innings against Chatham in his debut. 1 run, but it was not earned. And like you mentioned, no walks, had the 5 strikeouts, and scattered 6 hits. And in a way, That's the most impressive part, that he was working from the stretch for pretty much the entire night. So here's Soretti, the 1-2, swung on and missed. Strike three, got him on the changeup. What's new for the reverse split lefty, one away in the bottom of the first.
Well, that's exactly it. The changeup for Domkowski, really good, and he can throw it when he wants. Now for Domkowski, 11 strikeouts and no walks, and he's limited the damage, just 2 earned runs through 2 starts in 11 innings. 2-0 on the mound as well. Whitey's been able to pick up victories both times that he's pitched, and all signs indicate early on he has plenty of cushion here working against Chatham.
So here's Jake DeLeo hitting .286 on the season. Takes the first pitch in the dirt for ball one. One away, no one on. In the bottom of the first inning, the Whitey infield left to right. It's Zach Liu at third, Pascal Ferreras at short, Wyatt Huffman playing second, and Cody Huff at first. The elevated fastball misses by the brow. 2 balls and no strikes. Nick Domkowski making his third appearance and third start of the year. His battery mate, Nate Baez. And in the outfield, it's Peyton Graham playing left, Tyler Williams at center. And in right field, Chase Luttrell is YD wearing their red uniforms with blue lettering and white pants. Nick Domkowski behind in the count. 2 balls, no strikes to Jake DeLeo, the left fielder. And a get-me-over fastball does just that, 2-1. Now DeLeo from Stamford, Connecticut at 6'1", 195. Georgia Tech product. Went 1 for 4 in his last appearance on the 4th of July against Orleans. Had an RBI as well. And that one cracked a mile high to Pascal Ferreras at short. He can't find it, and he does at the last minute for out number 2. Pascal Ferreras probably got his fair share of steps in there, if only there were a pedometer in his back pocket, because he started his path at about shallow left field, probably 5 steps out of the infield, and then ended about 10 steps into the infield. There is some wind, but it's really not that vicious of a breeze. And the flag blowing from left to right. 2 outs, and a line drive smacked off the bat of Lyle Miller Green, and off the scoreboard, a solo shot for Lyle Miller Green with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Home run number 4 for Miller Green, and deja vu for Whitey Red Sox fans, the second of the year against the Sox. It's now 5-1, still in favor of Whitey in the bottom of the first.
And Miller Green doing just what he did a few days ago on the second when he took YD Yard. And Green with 4 home runs on the season and 1 double. So out of his 9 hits, 4 come in the form of extra bases. He's just hitting a .195 on the season, but he has some extra base hit power.
So here's Andrew Benefield hitting a .120 on the year. And the first pitch, changeup, tails inside. 1 ball and no strikes. So Domkowski was cruising through the first 2, a strikeout and a pop out. Then Lyle Miller Green just took advantage of the changeup. Sharply hit ground ball down the third base line and fell. Well, Zach Liu didn't even have a beat on it. If that was fair, it was going into left field. He's playing a few feet off the bag. And Andrew Benefield, the third baseman, had a real shot at extra bases there. Breaking ball misses low and inside for ball 2. Well, Andrew Benefield from Dallas Baptist, a junior at 6'4", 200 pounds, corner infielder. Has a lot of power, but he swings and misses at the elevated fastball. Strike 3 and out number 3. That retires the side. Well, 1 run on 1 big hit from Lyle Miller Green, his 4th home run of the season. At the end of 1, it's 5-1 Red Sox right here on the Whitey Red Sox Baseball Network. Back here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, rinse and repeat. In the top of the second inning, it's the top of the order for YD after batting around with 5 runs on 5 hits in the top half of the first inning. And Peyton Graham, who doubled to start the game, back at it again against Alex McFarland. Well, this shouldn't necessarily come as a huge surprise for Chatham. They go with the opener model. Typically 3 innings for 3 different pitchers.
The most I'll buy is probably this hat.
But that first pitcher, that opener, has really struggled. Peyton Graham takes strike 1 on the fastball on the outside corner. Their starter ERA is 8.78. The team ERA is 4.58. 1 ball and 1 strike now. Make that 1 ball and 2 strikes after a foul ball and a changeup that misses low. Peyton Graham, the Oklahoma Sooner. And he takes the chin music for ball 2. So, and you look at those numbers and you wonder, okay, well, obviously it's not a true starter ERA because it's the opener model. But then you think, well, is there anything to the variable of, well, this guy started and that's why maybe he didn't play as well. The fastball misses by the shins. The count is now full to Peyton Graham. Payoff pitch swung on and fouled out of play. And, you know, I suppose it'd be like hitting leadoff. You don't have the benefit of watching and learning from your peers ahead of you. And Graham watches the slider in the zone. He knew it. Strike 3 called for out number 1 in the top of the second inning.
Yeah, I know the Graham strikeout right there, but it was good to see Graham have that double back in the first and come around to score in that big frame for YD. He was 0 for his previous 13. His average for the first time this season dipped below 300, but the ultimate table setter for YD. And
no balls, 1 strike now to Wyatt Hoffman on a big swing and a miss. Count now 1-1 as the fastball misses outside. Oh, you're right, and Peyton Graham dipped from 394 to 298, so there was a long way to go to drop to sub-300 for the first time this year. 1 ball and 2 strikes after the slider hits by the knees. And Hoffman waves at the fastball in the dirt. It goes past the backstop Romero and on to first. A drop third strike is Wyatt Hoffman.
And the thing for Wyatt Hoffman is he's able to – there's a lot to talk about with Wyatt Hoffman. I mean, continuing his hit streak, of course, the hero in last night's game. I know he has the K right there, the strikeout, but is able to reach base and now on an 8-game hitting streak. It's such a cool story about what Wyatt Hoffman has been able to do this season, because it's not something when you looked at his previous 100 games played at the collegiate level that you'd expect.
Nate Baez, the Arizona State Sun Devil, takes the changeup inside for ball 1. Well, Wyatt Hoffman now on an 8-game hit streak. He's never done that in the NCAA ranks. He's hitting well over 300 now, and that's never been done as a collegiate player either. Baez takes a big hack of the fastball up above the zone. 1-1 the count now with 1 out and a runner on first base. YD 5 and Chatham 1 in the top of the second inning. Alex McFarland, the righty from Miami, comes set of the belt. Takes his time, a deep breath, and the fastball misses low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike now.
Yeah, for Hoffman, 228 this past season, but just for his career, hitting 223 in 117 games played. Not someone who's had a ton of success at the plate. You asked him, hey, what has changed? And he said not really much, just believing in himself. And it's nice to see some players who, going from playing on the weekends to playing virtually every day, get that opportunity to be in the lineup and have success and make those adjustments at the highest level.
3 balls and 1 strike to Baez now, and diving back to first is Wyatt Hoffman, who got on first base after striking out. The 3rd strikeout of the day for McFarland, but a drop 3rd strike. 3 balls and 1 strike to Baez. Runner goes, and Baez cracks it foul down the 3rd base line. Now, Alex McFarland responsible for 5 runs on 5 hits and counting. It's not necessarily uncharted territory. He's given up 5 or more runs once before this past season. It came on a 7-run outing in a 14-3 loss to Georgia Tech. Andrew Compton. Another throw over. Wyatt Hoffman diving back safely. And typically used as a reliever at Miami. And Wyatt Hoffman picked off of first base. Just begging McFarland to throw over for a 3rd time in this at-bat. He took another step, and it cost him.
Yeah, well, Hoffman has had an eventful day on the base path. Singled in the 1st, then stole 2nd. And came around to score, then gets picked off the base paths right there for the 2nd out.
And it's all for naught as Nate Baez misses on the changeup low, or rather Nate Baez walks on the changeup that misses low. A 2-out walk for Baez, and Wyatt Hoffman kicking himself. He would have been on second base. Instead, it's a runner on first with 2 outs for Cody Huff. And
McFarlane coming into this game, I mean, making his first start, but he appeared in 2 previous games, 6 innings tossed, and he just allowed 2 hits over those previous 6 innings, scattered throughout 2 different outings where he went 3 innings in both of those starts, and he just allowed 1 earned run. Whitey comes out and puts 5 on him on 5 hits. It's not something that he's seen in his previous 2 outings.
0-2 to Cody Huff now after the fastball for strike 1 and a foul ball for strike 2. Well, he's made just 8 starts in 2 seasons at the collegiate level. And McFarland, again with plenty of relievers breathing down his neck. 2 outs, 0-2 count to Cody Huff, who singled his last time up. And Huff watches the fastball for strike 3 call. On the outside corner, Huff is rung up, side retired. 2 strikeouts for Alex McFarland in a bounce-back 2nd inning. And now it's 4 on the day, and actually 3 in the 2nd with the drop 3rd strike included. 3 strikeouts for Alex McFarland through 2, but still Whitey leads 5-1. In the middle of the 2nd, it's Whitey 5 and Chatham 1 right here on the Whitey Red Sox Baseball Network.
Greatly appreciate your
Bottom of the 2nd right here on the Whitey Red Sox Baseball Network. From Veterans Field, it's Whitey 5 and Chatham 1. And Logan Britt leading off the bottom half of the 2nd inning for Chatham. The right fielder watches the slider low for ball 1 from Nick Domkowski, the lefty, who was pretty much perfect in the 1st inning with the exception of 1 pitch to Lyle Miller Green for a solo home run. Swing and a miss on the changeup. 1-1 the count now to Logan Britt.
And when you talk about a pitcher and you throw 100 pitches sometimes throughout a game, especially for YD starters.
And the Texas A&M Aggie pops it up down the 3rd base line. It is foul.
And for YD, their pitchers go 5-6 frames. They try to go deep into the game. Typically, Pickler wants to get some length out of those starting pitchers. And 100 pitches, say it's 80 to 100. 1 pitch, 1 mistake, and that can dictate your outing. an error, a bloop, and then a home run, a 3-run home run on a one mistake pitch. Sometimes it's just a game of inches, and you attribute so much credit to a starting pitcher who can be locked in throughout the duration of an outing. One pitch can dictate your entire box score and your entire statistics, your ERA, everything off each pitch. I mean, there's a lot to be said.
So correction, with our vantage point, we were not able to see that last batter or that last pop-up. Logan Britt actually popped out into foul territory, Peyton Graham making the catch. And now it's Dominic Tumez. No balls and 2 strikes for the DH. And Tumez takes ball 1 out off the plate. Nick Domkowski in the transfer portal from Hartford after they move from the D1 ranks to D3. And Tumez pops it up. Shallow right field, Chase Luttrell fair catching it to make the catch for out number 2. Well, he waved his arms kind of like, almost like Devin Hester. I say almost like Devin Hester because I was looking for a punt returner, but it's a bad example for someone who's going to fair catch it.
He's not ever fair catching.
No.
But yes, if fair catch, I got it, I got it. That's what the outfielder is going to say. You come on it, you communicate to everyone in that region, which was the first baseman, Cody Huff, the second baseman, Wyatt Hoffman, and you take control with your vocal cords and say, I got it, just like a football player would do. I got it, don't tackle me.
Josh Rivera, the shortstop, grounds it over to short. Pascal Ferreras pumps his glove and rifles across the diamond in time to get the speedy Rivera for out number 3. 2 flyouts and a ground out retire the Anglers in order in the second inning, and at the end of 2, it's 5-1 YD, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Brad Klein. Will Connerly here with you. And the YD Red Sox, they've got a 5-1 lead here in the top of the 3rd as Chase Luttrell is up to the plate for YD. Five runs on 5 hits for the Red Sox. All came in the first inning. And Chase Luttrell, Pascal Ferreras, and Drew Compton are set to hit for YD as Luttrell fouls it back.
Chase Luttrell, someone who really could use a hit here because he was definitely contributing in the last frame, walked and scored a run.
And he hits it to the left side. It's going to be down for a base knock, so there's your hit. Chase Luttrell is aboard to begin the top of the 3rd. The 6th hit for YD here in the top of the 3rd, and Pascal Ferreras now comes to the plate.
And Luttrell continues to support this lineup, and he continues to produce. But it's been a while since he really barreled up a baseball, and you don't necessarily need to get every bit of the baseball on every hit, but that's a confidence booster going forward.
The 11th hit of the season for Luttrell. He reached on a walk back in the 1st and singles to the left side here in the top of the 3rd as the first offering to Pascal Ferreras is up and inside. And Pascal Ferreras, he was able to showcase his power yesterday, leaving the yard for the first time this season after putting 16 balls over the fence at Western Carolina after the ball is low, scooped out of the dirt by Romeo Jr., thrown down to second, and Luttrell slides in safely, so he moves up into scoring position with a 1-ball, 1-strike count here to Pascal Ferreras, who got hit back in the first, but then was thrown out trying to come around to score. As that ball hit in the air to the right side, under it is Soretti, and he retires Ferreras for the first out, so one away. And here comes Drew Compton, who had an RBI double back in the first inning.
Should be noted, though, Chase Luttrell being on second base is a huge win for YD. He did not have a steal sign. That was a delayed steal, and Maxwell Romero, the catcher, just completely off guard.
McFarlane on the mound, getting the signs from Romero, the catcher. McFarlane comes set. Luttrell on second base. YD up by 4 runs. A kick and a look over at Luttrell. And he's back in time. No middle infielder even went to the second base bag. As Drew Compton at the plate, the designated hitter today. Switch hitter swinging it from the left side as he fouls it away. Out of play, 0-1 the count.
And the other thing about Compton's double was nothing's changed. He's swinging from the left side again, like he did in the first inning, and he went opposite field with that double. That to me shows an ability to hit to all fields, and when you're in a slump, you could be tempted just to pull, and that's how you get into some real trouble when you become predictable.
Yeah, Drew Compton coming into this game was just hitting a .130. 3 for 23 on the season, but a double in his first at bat, and that ball gets away from the catcher, and it's Luttrell who moves up 90 more feet as Romero wasn't able to handle it, and Luttrell over to third, so 90 feet away from scoring with 1 out here in the top of the third. YD up 5-1. As they've put 6 hits so far on McFarlane, the right-handed starting pitcher. The infield pinches in for the Anglers. Pitch misses low, off speed pitch, low and away. So 2 balls and a strike. With 1 out and 1 runner aboard, it's Luttrell who's on third. He's taken advantage of taking extra bases, swipes second, and then moves over to third after the ball gets away from Romero. As Compton fouls it away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here with 1 out. McFarlane getting the signs. The Anglers infield comes in all on the edge of the infield grass. YD looking for its 6th run. Pitch misses upstairs and away, so the count runs full. Here to Drew Compton. 1 out here in the top of the third. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here to Compton. And the pitch, swing and a miss, and Compton goes down swinging on the off-speed pitch for the 2nd out here in the top of the third, and that brings up Zach Liu. Zach Liu had an RBI hit back in the first when YD put up 5 runs, a crooked number to begin the game. A 5 spot on the right-handed starting pitcher, McFarlane. Alex McFarlane trying to strand Luttrell, who's on third base. Here with Zach Liu, YD's third baseman at the plate, and he fouls away the first pitch to the right side. So 0-1 the count. Here with 2 outs. YD had 5 in the top of the first, and it was a solo home run for Chatham, Lyle Miller Green in the bottom frame. Neither team scored in the second. It's a 5-1 advantage for the Red Sox. On top of the Anglers right now and on top of the entire East Division. They've won 2 games in a row. Liu showed the bunt, pulled back, and the ball missed in the dirt. Looking to bunt with 2 outs. YD's done that a couple times this year. Chase Luttrell had an inning-ending bunt in yesterday's contest. As the infield is back with 2 outs, Luttrell on third. The 1-1 hit to the left side, but it's foul. It was dribbling down the left field line right by third base coach and head coach for the YD Red Sox, Scott Pickler. It goes beyond him, and Benefield, the third baseman, not able to get to it, but he didn't have to. It was foul. So a ball and 2 strikes here with 2 away. Zach Liu up at the plate. Liu is 2 for 18 on the season after having a hit back in the first that produced a run for the YD Red Sox. A ball and 2 strikes. McFarlane comes set. Takes a peek at Luttrell on third, fires the pitch, and it misses outside, so count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away here in the top of the third. Already 6 hits for the Red Sox. Here in this game, the offense has put on a show early on at Veterans Field. The pitch fouled away. Lou stays alive and extends the at-bat. If the inning should extend to Tyler Williams, he's on deck, and then the top of the order thereafter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Chase Luttrell is on third base after he had a single to the left side to begin this inning. And the 2-2 pitch from McFarlane misses low. The count now bubbles up to 3 balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs. Luttrell waiting at third base, eyeing to score. And Zach Liu battling during this at-bat against Alex McFarlane.
That's what you need to see from a slumping hitter, an ability to work the count and don't give the pitcher anything.
And the 3-2. Swing and a miss into the mitt of Romero, and Liu is retired via the strikeout. The second strikeout of the frame and the 6th of the game for the right-hander McFarlane, but YD leads 5-1 as we send it to the bottom of the third on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Bottom of the third, it's a 5-1 lead for the YD Red Sox. Brad Klein alongside myself, Will Connerly, and YD off to a hot start in this one, and a nice start to the frame for the left-hander now in his 3rd inning of work, Nick Domkowski. Working in the bottom of the third, and he has a healthy 5-1 advantage, making his 3rd start of the season for the Red Sox, and the left-hander for the 0-1 pitch. As it misses up, facing off against Caden Trinkle, the center fielder for Chatham. Trinkle 4 for 28 on the season with 2 runs scored and 3 runs driven in.
And Nick Domkowski has been gifted a huge lead, was in the first and still is, so it's up to him to not take anything for granted and keep that pedal to the metal. You don't want to let Chatham back in this game.
Ball foul back on the 2-1 pitch, so count evens, and now it's Trinkle in a 2-strike hole. Through 28 at-bats in 9 games, he struck out 11 times, hitting 143 on the season. He was 1 for 5 yesterday. And 0 for 3 against the YD Red Sox back on July 2nd when the two teams met here at Veterans Field, as the pitch misses high and it count runs full here. 3 balls and 2 strikes. As Domkowski working against Caden Trinkle, 8-9-1. The order due up for Chatham in the bottom of the 3rd, and it's a foul ball. It looked like it came up and ran inside on Trinkle. He thought about check swinging, and it came up and must have hit some part of the lumber, and it's fouled away in a unique way. So 3 balls and 2 strikes, count still full, bottom of the 3rd. 5-1 lead for the YD Red Sox. Domkowski out of the wind, and the payoff pitch misses high, and Trinkle reaches on a free pass. So the first walk issued by the left-hander this season.
The catcher from Vanderbilt, number 45, Max
It took
Romero
13 innings before Nick Domkowski would surrender a free pass. He does right there, and now is going to try to work around a leadoff walk in the bottom of the 3rd. A 5-1 lead for YD, bottom of the 3rd. And the 9th place hitter in the order, Max Romero Jr., the catcher, is at the plate. Swing and a miss on the first offering from Domkowski. He went to the slider, and he got Romero out in front, and right after that pitch, it was a quick pop-up by Nate Baez, the catcher today for YD, and now he's having a quick conference with Nick Domkowski after he had Romero way out in front of the slider. Baez wasted no time to go talk to his left-handed pitcher right after the swing and a miss, so an 0-1 count.
You're right, it was the first walk issued by Domkowski as a Red Sox. Walks were not completely foreign to him this past year at Hartford, though.
Yeah, he had 27 walks in 60 innings pitched, over 10 starts, walked 27 hitters, so almost 3 walks per start for the left-hander, but he's locked in that command and control and really had a successful season, had just a 3.13 ERA at Hartford, and looking to transfer to a Power 5 university or potentially hear his name called in the MLB draft next week. So, like we mentioned, could potentially be his last start for the YD Red Sox. And with the draft looming around and the carousel of rosters exchanging players in and out, that same story could be said for a lot of players within the Cape Cod Baseball League, as it's 2 balls and a strike. Here to Romero Jr., the catcher, swinging it from the left side here against the southpaw Nick Domkowski. Trying to work around a leadoff walk, and he comes set. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, and he got Romero way out in front of a slider for the second time this at-bat. The first time Nate Baez went to go talk to Domkowski right after the fact, and he has him way out in front of the 2-1. Maybe was expecting a fastball in the hitter-friendly count, but now it's even. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 runner aboard in Caden Trinkle, who drew the leadoff walk. The 2-2, it's foul back, so we'll do it again.
And to those lefties, Domkowski really relies on the slider that tails away from him. He always likes to work on the outer half of the plate, whichever half that might be. A righty, it's the right half, and the lefty, it's the left, obviously. So he goes to the slider and pretty much eliminates the changeup.
As that ball's popped up toward the right side, Wyatt Hoffman sprinting back for it, but then it's Luttrell who issues his vocal cords out to Wyatt Hoffman, says, hey, I got it, and he gloves it for the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd. So the second time Luttrell has come up to make a play in shallow right field, calling off his infielders, and there's 1 out. Now, Nick Domkowski, he's making his 11th career start in the Cape Cod Baseball League, made 8 starts back in the 2019 season. And now the left-hander is going to face Dan Soretti, who struck out swinging back in the first. Chop to Domkowski, up on the first baseline. Domkowski gloves it, throws it over to first, and he retires Soretti. It's Trinkle who moves up to second base, but after Domkowski makes the play, there's 2 outs. The quick little chopper to the pitcher, not always the easiest play for a southpaw to make a play on the first baseline, but he gathers it, turns around, and fires it over to Cody Huff at first. There's 2 outs now for Jake DeLeo.
It's a very impressive play. The most impressive part was that he never panicked. It was all one fluid speed and one fluid motion for Domkowski there.
Domkowski now working with Trinkle on second base. He's going to turn around as he jumped off the rubber and threw it over to Wyatt Hoffman. Wyatt Hoffman caught it, but Trinkle was able to get back to second base in time. So a quick peek at the runner with Domkowski, who's worked from the stretch this entire frame. After the leadoff walk to Trinkle, though, he got the pop out to right field and then gloved the 1-3 put out as Domkowski was able to showcase his glove and make a nice play over on the first baseline. Gloved it as it was just nubbed down the right side for the second out, now facing Jake DeLeo, the second hitter in the order, swinging it from the right side. Popped out last time to Pascal Ferreras as the pitch misses in the dirt, so 1 ball, 1 strike here with 2 outs. The runner on second is Caden Trinkle, and the advantage on the scoreboard is 5-1 in favor of YD after a 5-run first inning. The YD was trying to bury Chatham early in this one. Here in the bottom of the third, still controlling a 4-run lead. Lyle Miller Green cut into that 5-run advantage in the bottom of the first with a solo home run, second consecutive game against YD that he's hit a home run. And the 1-1 pitch misses low, but it's Trinkle who's going to move over to third, and so he takes third after the ball got away from Baez. So now 90 more feet up is Trinkle, and he's on third base here with 2 outs after the ball quickly got away from Baez. Trinkle was ultra aggressive even with 2 outs to take the third base bag.
Nate Baez, not a natural catcher, it shows there.
And the pitch misses low. Baez able to stop it. Yeah, not a natural catcher, was a highly touted shortstop coming out of high school, but he cracked into the lineup because of his bat, and they found a home for him at Arizona State. And the backstop was used as a defensive replacement at times in the infield, but they put him to catch because of his bat. So Baez gives the sign to Domkowski. The 3-1 pitch to DeLeo gets away from Baez, and it's going to be a run that comes across. It's Trinkle who comes around to score, and it's DeLeo who has the free pass. So the second walk issued in this frame, and it's DeLeo who walks and Trinkle who comes around to score. It's a 5-2 lead now for YD after Chatham scores on the ball getting away from Baez.
Well, Nate Baez just tries to scoop it on his glove side. The breaking ball missed inside and low, badly in the dirt. Baez did not shuffle, did not move his body. Instead, he just tried to glove it, and that's why it got past him. That is a lackadaisical effort by Baez.
So 2 outs, and the first offering is in there for a strike to the third place hitter in the lineup, Lyle Miller Green. Hitting under the Mendoza line, but has 4 home runs this season, 2 of which have come against the YD Red Sox, and 1 of which came back in the first inning. Both of them, the past 2 times the teams met, were solo shots. And a swing through the breaking pitch, now an 0-2 count. Nick Domkowski trying to work around a couple walks. He had the leadoff walk to Caden Trinkle, who then took third base, and that was a huge 90 feet because then he came around to score after the ball got away from Baez on ball 4 to Jake DeLeo, who's on first base. But now he has a no-ball, 2-strike count here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. The 0-2, Domkowski goes to pick, and DeLeo's off to second. And the throw to second, not in time. Well, maybe it was in time, but the tag not applied by Wyatt Hoffman, and it's Jim Fonseca, who says safe at second base, the second base umpire for today's game. So DeLeo is into second after the pitch, or not the pitch, the pickoff attempt from Nick Domkowski. Still a 0-2 count, but DeLeo now in scoring position. A 5-2 lead for the YD Red Sox. Chatham scored one in the bottom of the first on the home run from Miller Green, who's at the plate now. The 0-2 pitch, it's a swing and a miss. So Domkowski is able to put away Green, but not before a run comes across the leadoff walk of Caden Trinkle, and then came around to score on the ball that got away from Baez on ball 4 to Jake DeLeo. So after 3 innings, it's a 5-2 lead for the YD Red Sox, and we'll be back with you next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Sebastian Keene now has entered the game. So the night is done for the starting pitcher for Chatham. Typically how they will work in that piggyback formation, 3-3-3, that semi-opener. But now Alex McFarlane, his line is complete. And the right-hander Sebastian Keene now on the mound, and his first pitch to Tyler Williams in there for a strike, 0-1 the count. Top of the fourth, a 5-2 lead for the YD Red Sox, and the ball is hit towards center field by Williams, and then it's eventually called off in shallow center by the second baseman Danny Soretti, so he's able to glove it for the first out. Tyler Williams with the pop out to the second baseman, and so that flips the lineup card over to Peyton Graham. He doubled it and came around to score in the first, and then struck out looking back in the second. Now up to the plate with one out, nobody on, top of the fourth, and a 5-2 advantage for the YD Red Sox. First pitch misses low from the right-hander Sebastian Keene. Keene was drafted in the 11th round of the 2019 MLB draft, but he chose to attend Northeastern instead of signing with the Boston Red Sox. Peyton Graham at the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike, and Graham swings through it, so a ball and 2 strikes now. Here with 1 out, nobody on. Sebastian Keene from North Andover, Mass., a rising sophomore. Made 12 starts and went 6-1 at Northeastern this past season. And the pitch misses outside to Peyton Graham. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So far this season on the Cape, this is his 3rd outing. He's gone 3 innings in the previous 2 outings. Pitched against Falmouth and against Brewster, most recently on the 29th of June. And Graham is retired via the strikeout for the 2nd consecutive at-bat, and there's 2 away.
Now Peyton Graham slowly but surely developing a strikeout problem, and it's not a huge problem because he continues to get on base when he's not striking out, but it's something to look out for, the tendency to strike out for Peyton Graham.
And Wyatt Hoffman now to the plate. He extended his hit streak to 8 games, a story that we continue to bubble up, but the plot, it keeps thickening for Wyatt Hoffman. He's continued to produce at a high level as he fouls back the 1-0 pitch to the screen, so a ball and a strike. Sebastian Keene, he was a very highly touted player, drafted in the 11th round, went to Northeastern as we mentioned, but was named preseason freshman of the year prior to this past season by Baseball America, ranked as the 43rd freshman by perfect game back in 2020 when he started 4 games. And that ball hit up the middle by Wyatt Hoffman, backhanded by Soretti at second, thrown over to first, and it's in time. Hoffman grounds out to end the top of the 4th. And it's a clean inning of work for Sebastian Keene as he comes out of the bullpen. A 5-2 lead for YD. We send it to the bottom of the 4th on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. I'm happy to be alongside Brad Klein. Will Connerly here with you as well. And YD enjoying a 5-2 lead right now. And the left-hander, he's now out for his 4th inning of work, Nick Domkowski. Here in the bottom of the 4th as that ball is hit to the right side and dropped through. So it's a leadoff single for Chatham here in the bottom of the 4th. As Andrew Benefield is able to get aboard. He struck out back in the 1st, but then reaches on the single to right field here in the 4th, and that brings up Logan Britt.
Well, that's just a great piece of hitting by Benefield right there. He was turned inside out, but still showing off his strength to dump it into right field on the handle.
So Domkowski now going to try to work around a leadoff base runner for the 2nd consecutive inning. And that ball hit to the right side. Chase Luttrell moving to his left. He catches it. And so Luttrell with the out, the 3rd ball that he's gloved over there in right field. They're keeping Chase Luttrell a little busy out there on the right side. Nick Domkowski with the changeups. I mean, they're keeping him busy with the ball tailing away from right-handed hitters. A good portion of the balls have gone to the right side.
And why not, right? Why not? The only hits that YD gave up yesterday were home runs, so not too much action to be done and to be made by the outfield and the infield there. And then in the game prior against Hyannis, 19 strikeouts. So it's time for the outfielders to get their work in.
The fielders trying to get their work in, and no balls and a strike, 1 out and a check over at first. And Benefield gets back in time, led off the bottom of the 4th with a single. Then Britt popped out to the right side. Dominic Tamez is at the plate. And a no ball, 1 strike count here with 1 out. Domkowski comes set. And the 0-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. It's the old changeup from Domkowski. He pulls the string and now is ahead 0-2 in the count. And Domkowski, to the right-handers, you're going to see a healthy dose of the changeup tailing away from the right-handed hitters. We'll see if he doesn't dial that up here. The 0-2 pitch from Domkowski. Misses outside, and now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So you're down by 3. You're Dominic Tamez. Still pretty early in this game, but you shouldn't be thinking about anything besides taking the pitch where it's thrown.
A ball and 2 strikes. The pitch from Domkowski. He takes the pitch where it's thrown on the outside corner and throws it back to the screen, a foul ball. And so still a 1 ball, 2 strike count, and you're right. You can't get ahead with a big healthy swing. Still down by 3 runs, but Chatham looking to piece together some hits. They have 2 hits thus far on the game and 2 runs after scoring on a leadoff walk last half inning. The 1-2 pitch fouled away once again as Tamez with back-to-back 2-strike foul balls staying alive here against Nick Domkowski.
Good 2-strike hitting for Tamez. He's going to see those changeups over and over again, and not to fool him, because even if Domkowski throws him the changeup and Tamez knows it's going to be thrown, it's still going to be very, very difficult to hit.
The 1-2 to Tamez, and it's difficult to hit indeed. The breaking ball that Tamez swings through, and there's 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Here at Veterans Field, it's a 5-2 lead for the YD Red Sox. A beautiful sight to see for YD Red Sox fans, but what about the atmosphere here? The fans have settled in great abundance, just littered throughout the ballpark and the outfield, and the beautiful sky that is off to the right side of center field. The pink sky, it's just a great atmosphere here at Veterans Park, and one of the best places to catch a game here on the Cape as the ball is fouled away to the left side, and Zach Luke gloved it in foul territory. So 0-1 the count, but Brad, it is just a beautiful atmosphere and a great opportunity to see the beautiful sky and get the camera phone out for a nice little picture if you want.
Yeah, it's pretty much perfect. Enjoy it while it lasts. I see rain in the forecast in about an hour.
Ball fouled away. Nick Domkowski working effectively. See how deep he can't go in this one. He's been a nice workhorse for YD this season. They have come out on top in his previous 2 starts, and they're on top right now in the bottom of the 4th. A 5-2 lead for the YD Red Sox. Benefield is on first. He had a leadoff single here in the 4th. The 2nd hit for Chatham as the pitch misses high. Here against Josh Rivera, the shortstop. Grounded out to end the 2nd. Grounded out to Pascanel Ferreras. Now Domkowski, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Benefield on first. And a check over at first. Domkowski, he didn't lift the leg. He actually stepped off and threw over to first. Had Jake DeLeo picked off when he was running last inning, but then the throw down to first from Domkowski and then to second wasn't in time. DeLeo got second base, and the same thing happens here. Pick off, Benefield's in motion, and this time he got him. So the inning ends, and through 4, YD on top 5-2 as Nick Domkowski executes the pickoff, and YD on top 5-2. We send it to the 5th next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Nate Baez to the plate for the Red Sox, top of the fifth. And the first pitch he sees from Sebastian Keane here in the top of the fifth is in there for a strike. A 5-2 lead for YD, top of the fifth here at Veterans Field. And the pitch from Keane misses low. Keane worked pretty nicely out of the bullpen as he came out in the fourth and faced the minimum one strikeout he recorded as well as he went 1-2-3 through YD's order, and Baez grounds it to the left side over to Rivera at short, across the diamond to first, and Baez is retired to begin the top of the fifth. One out, and now Cody Huff comes to the plate.
The first baseman, number 26, Cody Huff.
4 straight retired out of the bullpen for the right-hander Sebastian Keane. Now Cody Huff up to the plate after Baez is retired for the second time. He's now 0 for 2 with a walk. And the first pitch misses low to Cody Huff. It bounced on the plate and then was gloved by Romero Jr., the catcher. 1 ball, no strikes here to Cody Huff, who's 1 for 2. Now with 7 hits on the season, he has 6 hits coming into this game, and they all came in the form of multi-hit games. He's had 3 2-hit games in the past 4 games for YD, and he already has a hit today. At the plate here in the top of the fifth. So Huff, he's showcased his good defense today behind the plate at first base today and has picked it up with the lumber as well. That ball hit to the right side. It's another multi-hit game for Cody Huff. His 4th multi-hit game in the past 5 games. Cody Huff aboard with a 1-out single in the top of the fifth.
Cody Huff continues to hit at a high level. Kind of went inside out on that one, but it didn't matter because Miller Green was just playing way too close to the back.
Cody Huff, who's aboard on first base. Huff drafted in the 32nd round out of high school. Opted to take his talents to Stanford. Not only just one of the best schools in the country, but they're one of the best baseball schools in the country as well this past season, making it to Omaha and hit a really scorching hot start to the season at Stanford. And you could say the same about him here on the Cape. He's off to the races with the pitch. The ball is fouled away to the left side. The hit and run was in effect as Chase Luttrell is at the plate, but it's fouled away. So a ball and a strike. Cody Huff will have to mosey back onto first base after the foul ball. But Luttrell at the plate with a 1 ball, 1 strike count, 1 out, top of the fifth. And Chase Luttrell, he's 1 for 1, had a single back in the third, walked in the first.
The last time Cody Huff was on the running end of a hit and run, he was caught at second base.
And the 1-1 from Keane, a swing and a miss, and now a 1-2 hole for Luttrell, who swung through the high fastball there. YD, though, with 7 hits in this one. The Bats, they travel from Red Wilson Field as well after Cody Huff had a base knock to the right side. Now 4 multi-hit games in the past 5 games for Cody Huff as Luttrell is retired on the high fastball. So 2 outs here in the top of the fifth.
Number 5, Pascal Ferreras.
But Cody Huff, who's standing on first base, he was been good, as we mentioned, all around. Excited to see him play, and he's not the only player from Stanford that a lot of promise is within. A lot of expectation. Drew Bowser as well, who's a true freshman this past season. He's had a slow start on the Cape, hasn't had success yet, but just a very talented player. Not in the lineup tonight for the YD Red Sox as that ball is hit to the right side by Ferreras, gloved over by Soretti at second to Lyle Miller Green at first, and Ferreras is retired, and so is the side. Cody Huff had a hit, but he was stranded on first, and to the bottom of the fifth we go. YD on top 5-2 over Chatham here from Veterans Field. We send it to the bottom of the fifth. Next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Is now playing first base.
7-8-9 due up for Chatham. Here in the bottom of the fifth, a few defensive shifts for the YD Red Sox as they move some pieces around the infield. So Baez is going to go to first, and Cody Huff will go behind the plate. So they flip-flop the first baseman and catcher, as the left-hander Nick Domkowski is going to fire the first pitch, but now it's a new battery combination. And Brad, the last two starts that Nick Domkowski worked, he had Cade Hunter behind the plate. Through the first four innings of this one, he had Nate Baez behind the plate, but now they shifted over to Cody Huff. That ball hit to the left side. Zach Liu with a great play over at third, across the diamond, and he got him. A shifty play by Zach Liu to begin the frame in the bottom of the fifth. Not an easy play by the third baseman. You've said how good his glove has been. He shifts to the left, throws it across the diamond, and there's one away here in the bottom of the fifth.
Well, that's what Zach Liu does, right? Zach Liu making a really tough play look easy, and he really had to channel his arm strength because there was a lot of speed there by Rivera, and it took him a while to gather himself.
Yeah, Josh Rivera retired. On the ground out, Caden Schrinkel now to the plate. Walked to lead off the third and then came around to score. Domkowski, that was the first walk he issued in 13 frames so far this season, making his third start. But when you talk about pitchers and catchers and the chemistry that you have to have, they make the shift mid-game going to Cody Huff, who hasn't caught Nick Domkowski in a game yet, but Pickler goes to shift that momentum, and it's very interesting. In a limited amount of time, these catchers have to learn the repertoire of 10, 11 different pitchers on the roster and have to know, hey, what do you have success with? All while the coach is calling the pitches to the catchers. It's a very unique dynamic that you don't see at the collegiate level when you have the off seasons to learn the repertoires and where guys can primarily have success, as it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count here to Caden Schrinkel with one out and nobody on in the bottom of the fifth.
That's definitely something to pay attention to, not just for this team, but throughout the CCBL.
A broken bat hit softly down the left side. It's a foul ball, as the bat seemed to crack on the swing from Caden Schrinkel, who just got a piece of it. But you mentioned Cody Huff and his presence behind the plate. Something that we look at a lot of statistics, Cody Huff with the multi-hit games and throwing guys out, but one statistic that is hard to judge when a catcher is catching is how he can handle a pitching staff, and not just blocking balls, but knowing what pitches to call in the right situations, and also how to communicate to the pitcher when he's struggling. What are you going to say during a mound visit? The presence behind the plate is something that is difficult to measure, but it comes as maybe one of the most important things for a catcher on the field.
And that's the other thing. I say that chemistry is sometimes very hard to cultivate in the CCBL, and now you're asking a catcher who barely knows the pitcher to calm him down in his toughest moment.
The pitch misses outside, and Nick Domkowski, he's trying to calm down Chatham's lineup. He's done a pretty good job today. Just has scattered 2 hits across 4 1/3 toss, so now has a full count. Here to Caden Schrinkel, the pitch. Hit toward the right side. Wyatt Hoffman moves over to his right, makes the play on the fly, and there's 2 outs. Hoffman just had to shift a little bit over to his left and caught it in the air for the second out. Here in the bottom of the fifth, there is some action in YD's bullpen as Domkowski is working here in the fifth with 2 outs and now faces Max Romero Jr., the catcher, who popped out to right field last time at the plate. Swing and a miss on the first offering from Domkowski. Romero Jr., 1 for 9 so far on the season after he popped out back in the third. And the 0-1 pitch from the lefty Domkowski. Swing and a miss again as Romero was out in front of the off-speed pitch from Domkowski. Now he has him where he wants him. No balls and 2 strikes as Romero is swinging it from the left side here with 2 outs. The 0-2 pitch from Domkowski. Breaking ball in the dirt. Huff blocks it, but it's taken low and outside. He was eyeing to get Romero to chase on the 0-2 dirt ball. Now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Bottom of the 5th, nobody on, 2 outs, and a 5-2 lead for YD, the 1-2. Misses low again, same pitch. This time it was Romero who didn't bite again. He evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Domkowski not budging. He's been doing a pretty good job getting ahead of the count, so that way he can dictate what pitches he wants to throw and when and where.
The 2-2, he bit this time. Breaking ball in the dirt, not once, not twice, but the 3rd time Domkowski throws it. Romero swings through it to end the 5th. After 5, it's a 5-2 lead for the YD Red Sox. To the 6th we go on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Drew Compton to the plate for the YD Red Sox here in the top of the 6th. I'm alongside Brad Klein here with Will Connerly. Drew Compton at the plate, and he had a nice extra base hit. He's 1 for 2, had a double back in the 1st that brought a run home to score. It was one of 5 runs that YD plated in the top of the 1st, and that's all they have needed so far. After the performance on the mound from Nick Domkowski, he has just scattered 2 hits through 5 innings as that ball is hit toward center field. Running up on it is Trinkle, and he retires Compton for the 1st out here in the top of the 6th.
The 3rd baseman, number 8, Zach Blue.
And one crooked frame that, that can dictate a ball game a lot of the times. And Alex McFarlane, he was the victim to a crooked frame. He started the game and went 3 innings. And now Sebastian Keene is doing the work on the mound. And the strike is called to Zach Liu at the plate. The 8th place hitter in the order for YD. As Keene working quickly gets the ball and gets into the wind quickly. That pitch misses low, so a ball and a strike. Here with 1 out, nobody on top of the 6th. Zach Liu at the plate, and the 9th place hitter Tyler Williams on deck. A 5-2 lead for YD, the pitch. In there for strike 2, a ball and 2 strikes here to Zach Liu. Zach Liu 1 for 2 today, and 2 for 19 so far on the season for the Red Sox third baseman, as he fouls it away to the right side. Haven't seen Liu at first yet, and I don't think he's going to go anywhere after how his glove has been over at the hot corner. May rotate him in and out with other players, but definitely has flashed the leather at a high level. The 1-2. Hit to the left side, hard. What a diving play at third by Benefield, but the throw is low. It gets behind the first baseman, Lyle Miller-Green, and Zach Liu motors into second. You talk about defense on the hot corner. Half of it was done with the diving stop by Benefield, but the throw is low. It gets behind Lyle Miller-Green and Zach Liu on second base.
I hope they give him a hit on that, because that really would have been a fantastic play. And it looks like they're going to give him an error, but man, Benefield just gave it his all. And I think the rule of thumb should be, if he doesn't make the play and he should have made the play, then it's an error. But he had no business making that play, and that's why it would have been a fantastic one. That's a hit.
Or it should be a hit and then error on the throw.
Yes, of course.
And that's what I actually believe is the case.
Okay.
Looking at the scoreboard now, they did add an error, which they should have. He wasn't going to get to second, but they did also notch another tally in the hit column. So I believe that's the hit with the error, and I absolutely agree with the call. It was a rifle down the third base line, and it's Benefield who backhanded stop. Was really surprised he made that play just coming off the heels of talking about Zach Liu and his defense. Benefield showed it off there, but then Liu was able to get to second. And Tanner Smith, pinch hitter, coming into the game. So Tyler Williams, after going 0 for 2, gets subbed out. And the Oregon Duck is at the plate, Tanner Smith. Tanner Smith, 6 for 29 on the season, hitting .206 on the year as the pitch misses upstairs from Keene. A ball and a strike here with one out. You've got Zach Liu in scoring position. Can YD make Chatham pay here? After the error, it allowed Liu to advance to second. Was ruled a hit on the initial bag that was taken by Liu to first, but then was able to motor into second after the error. The throw got beyond Lyle Miller-Green. And a ball and a strike, Keene comes set. Liu on second, and Tanner Smith, the pinch hitter, at the plate here in the top of the sixth. And Smith fouls it away back to the screen over on the left side. And so now a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Tanner Smith.
Now, it should be noted that this is now the third time that Tyler Williams has been yanked after going 0 for 2 as a starter. And that is a motif at this point, that Tyler Williams' inability to get even to his third at-bat, and Scott Pickler has seen enough.
He's 0 for his last 9 at the plate after going 0 for 2 today. And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes here with one out. Zach Liu on second and Tanner Smith at the plate after they sub out the Arkansas Little Rock outfielder Tyler Williams. So Smith in a 2-2 count. Keene comes set, lifts the leg to check over at Liu on second base. Here in the top of the sixth. A 3-run advantage for YD, but they've got a runner in scoring position in the form of Zach Liu. Grounded away to the right side and foul, so Smith stays alive here with 2 strikes in the top of the sixth.
And going back to Tyler Williams for a second, it really just comes down to give Scott Pickler a reason to play you for the entire game. And Tanner Smith has done everything and more that Tyler Williams has done. The difference is he's gotten on base more.
And Smith fouls it away to stay alive. He chops it right back in front of home plate. Smith played on the 4th of July at Hyannis, went 1 for 2 with a run scored, and then played at Chatham and had a hit. So he's had a hit in his past 2 games that he's played, 6 on the season. And the Oregon outfielder in a 2-ball, 2-strike count. The pitch, it's fouled away once again, so 3 consecutive foul balls here for Smith with 2 strikes. He's staying alive here against the right-hander, Sebastian Keene, working in his 3rd inning of work after the starting pitcher, Alex McFarlane, went 3 innings, but YD tagged him for 5 runs, all which came in the top of the first. The 2-2 pitch. Hit up the middle, and that's a single for Smith. Zach Liu is going to be held up at third, and Tanner Smith with a pinch hit, base hit, the 9th hit of the day for YD, and now runners on the corners in the top of the 6th with just 1 out for Peyton Graham.
Nice piece of hitting by Tanner Smith, and a really good hold I think, by Scott Pickler. You have to be able to trust the top of your order. I think Zach Lou would have been thrown out anyway, but there's no reason to risk it with only one out and Peyton Graham up at the plate.
Peyton Graham broke out of an 0 for 13 slump with a double. In the first, he came around to score, has struck out in his last 2 at-bats. As the first pitch from Keene misses low. 15 strikeouts for Graham, now playing in his 14th game for the YD Red Sox. An infielder who's also played a little bit of the outfield from the University of Oklahoma. Originally from Texas. Took his talents to be a Sooner and had a very productive campaign this past season. And the pitch is in there for a strike, so a ball and a strike. As Sebastian Keene is trying to work out of a jam here. 9 hits for the YD Red Sox, 2 of which have come here on the top of the 6th. A 5-2 lead for YD, but they're looking to add on more. Peyton Graham at the plate. Zach Lou at third. And Tanner Smith at first. That ball hit towards center field. That's going to bring in a run deep to center, gloved by Trinkle. And it's Tanner Smith stays at first. Zach Lou comes home to score, and it's now 6-2 in favor of the YD Red Sox. Sacrifice fly by Peyton Graham, and Zach Lou comes around to score after his infield single. And now there's 2 outs as Smith stays at first, and Wyatt Hoffman comes to the plate.
Good for Peyton Graham. Doesn't feel like he has to do too much. And an RBI to his name.
First pitch in there for a strike on the inside corner to Wyatt Hoffman. Hoffman 1 for 3. Was last night's hero with the go-ahead 3-run home run in the bottom of the 7th at Red Wilson Field. It was his 3rd homer of the season. First homer of the season, rather. He just had 3 in 110 games at the collegiate level, but first this summer for the YD Red Sox. And it came in a big spot, gave YD the lead, and they won 5-4. They've won 2 games in a row, and they're winning right now, top of the 6th by a score of 6-2. With Peyton Graham coming through with the sacrifice fly. That ball hit up the middle, and Wyatt Hoffman has himself another base hit. So runners on first and second with 2 outs as Wyatt Hoffman squares up the ball and has himself a 2-out single to center field. And that brings up Nate Baez.
Wyatt Hoffman, don't get used to that home run from yesterday. That's really not his game. He's a small ball guy. Ground ball up the middle. He'll hit a line drive to pull. But really, Wyatt Hoffman just gets on base and keeps the line moving.
9 of the last 10 games, Wyatt Hoffman has reached safely via a base hit. In the 2nd consecutive game, he's had a multi-hit performance. And throughout this 10-game stretch, he's had 4 multi-hit games. Wyatt Hoffman on a tear. 9 of the past 10 games he's had a hit. The game he did not, he just went 0 for 1 against Orleans. Runners on first and second. The 1-0 pitch to Baez misses, so now 2 balls and no strikes as Keene is trying to work out of a little bit of trouble, and all signs indicate the way Chatham has thrown their pitchers this year, his last inning, his last out to get here in his 3rd frame of work. As they usually go with the 3-3-3 formula with their pitchers. 2 balls and no strikes. The pitch inside to Baez. The count runs to 3 balls and no strikes. Here with 2 outs. Runners on first and second. It was Drew Compton who popped up to begin the frame. Zach Lou with the infield single. And then Coach Pickler went to the pinch hitter, Tanner Smith, who came through with a base hit. Peyton Graham brought home Lou with the sac fly, and then Wyatt Hoffman got his 2nd base hit, and the 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike. So now 3 balls and a strike here to Nate Baez at the plate. Baez 0 for 2 today, hitting .272 on the season with 4 runs driven in and a team-high 4 doubles. And Keene comes set the 3-1. It's in there for strike 2, so the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs and runners on first and second. YD up by 4 runs behind a 10-hit performance by the offense thus far. In the top of the 6th, they're looking for more. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch, it's fouled away, so we'll do the payoff pitch once more as Wyatt Hoffman and Tanner Smith were off to the races on the 3-2 offering. They'll do it again, but they got to go get back to their respective bags as Baez fouled it away to the right side.
That's a nice swing by Baez. It didn't look like he was necessarily expecting that pitch, and he got it and was able to stay alive. But the previous 2 pitches, it really looked like he was just trying to walk.
The 3-2 from Keene. Fouled away once again, so Baez with back-to-back full-count foul balls to stay alive in this at-bat against Sebastian Keene in the top of the 6th. 1 run already across for YD. They have 3 hits in this inning and 10 on the game, and they lead by 4 runs. A 6-2 advantage for the Red Sox in the top of the 6th. Runners on first and second. Hoffman at first, Smith at second, and Baez at the plate. Keene comes set, delivers the 3-2, and he's rung up as he watches the fastball right down the middle for strike number 3. So 2 runners stranded for the Red Sox in the 6th, but in the top of the 6th, they do score a run and now lead 6-2. To the bottom frame of the 6th we go here at Veterans Field. A 6-2 advantage for the YD Red Sox on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. And YD with a 6-2 lead here in the bottom of the 6th. As the left-hander now working in his 6th frame of work, and the first pitch misses low. Through the first 4 innings of his outing, he had Nate Baez as the catcher. Cody Huff put on the catching gear. He caught the 5th, and now the battery mate with Nick Domkowski here in the 6th as the ball is hit to the right side and into foul territory. So for Chatham, they've got the top of the order, Dan Soretti at the plate. He's 0 for 2 here in the bottom of the 6th. 10 hits, 6 runs for YD, 2 hits, 2 runs for Chatham. A 4-run advantage for the lefty on the mound, and the pitch misses low, so 2 balls and a strike here against Soretti. Soretti coming from North Carolina, 2 for 7 so far on the season. Small sample size, just arrived on the Cape a few games ago and getting some action atop the Anglers' order. He's 0 for 2 today, after a 2 for 5 performance to begin his season on the Cape. Coming into this one, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1, 2, 3 up in the order for Chatham. Domkowski out of the wide. He kicks and delivers the 2-2. It's fouled away. We'll do it again.
And imagine this is Domkowski's final inning. A lot of action in the Red Sox bullpen, and he's been so good, so strong, and pretty efficient too.
Swing, and it's fouled back into the glove of Cody Huff. Domkowski records the strikeout. Had to wait a second to see if Huff was able to corral that one, but it is strike 3 as he gets the strikeout of Soretti swinging. And now Coach Pickler, you said it might be his final inning, but no, his final batter, and he gets Soretti to fan. So Domkowski, he'll go to the showers after 5 1/3 tossed with just allowing 2 hits and 2 runs. And in the bottom of the 6th, a 6-2 advantage for YD, but it's a call to the bullpen. We'll tell you all about the new pitcher next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Brad Klein, Will Connerly here with you, and Nick Domkowski. A fine outing for the left-hander. Once again, 3 starts and 3 quality ones for Nick Domkowski. 5 1/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks. And now he turns the ball over to Jarrett Godman, the right-hander. So he comes out in a situation making his 4th appearance of the summer, and first pitch misses upstairs to Jake DeLeo. DeLeo, the rising sophomore, a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. DeLeo 0 for 1 today, walked back in the 3rd, popped out in the 1st, and takes the 2nd offering from Godman low. Godman, his 4th appearance, his most recent appearance came on June 30th against Wareham. Just went 2/3 of an inning after he surrendered 3 hits and 2 earned runs and then was pulled. Ball hit to the left side. Zach Luke loves it, takes his time, 1 pump, then over to first, and it's DeLeo who's retired on the ground out. Godman is able to get DeLeo to ground out in a hitter-friendly count, and there's 2 outs now in the bottom of the 6th. Lyle Miller Green now to the plate here against Jarrett Godman.
Now, some people might say it was a lackadaisical play by Zach Lou because it was actually a pretty close play, DeLeo making it close, but I just credit that to Lou knowing the scouting report, knowing that DeLeo doesn't run especially well, and knowing his arm strength is enough.
Godman's first pitch to Lyle Miller Green misses inside. Godman out of Oklahoma. Originally from Las Vegas, his hometown. And the 21-year-old right-hander delivers the pitch and misses low. He is draft eligible this year. 2 balls and no strikes to Lyle Miller Green. He's thrown 7 innings so far this season, picked up a save in his first outing, and that was against Chatham when YD was able to prevail at Red Wilson Field by a score of 3-2. His next outing came a few days later against Orleans when he pitched 4 shutout innings, and YD was able to win 8-7, and then he pitched in the 3-3 draw against Wareham. His first time that he's pitching on the road this season here at Veterans Field. In his 4th outing, but has 1 win, a 3.85 ERA through 7 innings, and has picked up a win and a save. Looked pretty solid out of the bullpen. And the 3-1 pitch is in there for strike 2, count full to Lyle Miller Green, who's 1 for 2, and the 1 was a big home run. 4 homers on the season for Lyle Miller Green despite hitting below 200 with 10 runs driven in. The pitch, swing, and it's a foul ball. As Cody Huff goes back to get it. Godman now still with a full count here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. YD leading 6-2 right now in the bottom frame of the 6th inning. Godman working here in a 3-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs. Nobody on, bottom of the 6th, and the 3rd place hitter, Lyle Miller Green, Chatham's first baseman at the plate. He grounds it to the right side. Baez comes up to get it. Godman has to get over. Does he in time? And he does. Baez moved over to his right. The first baseman gloved it. Godman got over to first. Flip over in time, and the side is retired. So Godman comes in to get the final 2 outs in the 6th, and he does it in order. A 1-2-3 frame, although 2 pitchers used for the YD Red Sox in the 6th. And after 6, it's a 6-2 lead for the Red Sox. We send it to the 7th next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. And this inning brought to you by Curry College. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education at graduate studies, including 5th-year master's programs at www.curry.edu.
The catcher, number 26. Cody Huff.
Top of the 7th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Will Connerly, I'm Brad Klein, and Cody Huff leading off for the Red Sox against David Falco, the big, tall righty from Maryland. And Huff pops it foul out of play on the first pitch fastball. Well, Falco at 6'4", 240 pounds. He is a mammoth of a man on the mountaintop, 60 feet and 6 inches away from Cody Huff. And the fastball misses outside, 1-1 the count now. Well, Falco in his last appearance went 2/3 of an inning and gave up 4 runs, all of them earned. 2 walks, no strikeouts. And Huff, who already has 2 singles on the day, pops it out of play behind the plate and over the backstop.
Another nice multi-hit game for Huff. 4 of the past 5 games, he's had 2 hits.
And whenever he records a hit, he has another to go with it. The 1-2 misses low and had Cody Huff bending, just hoping that Falco's fastball would be at his shins and below the zone. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now as YD leads 6-2 in the top of the 7th inning. Huff watches the changeup, miss low again. The count is now full. So in 3 appearances and a total of 3 1/3 innings pitched, Falco with a 10-8 ERA. Did not play in the shortened 2020, and Huff drives it to right field, but right on the nose to the right fielder Britt for out number 1.
That ball was struck harder than his last 2 hits. Driven hard to right field, and it had some arm side run on that hit. It was looked like initially it was going to be in the gap, but then it broke right into the glove of Logan Britt, the right fielder.
So here's Chase Luttrell, who watches the breaking ball skip to the backstop for ball 1. And Luttrell already has reached base twice today, a walk and scored a run in the first and singled in the third, but was stranded at third base. Struck out swinging his last time up. And watches the fastball on the outside corner, the count even at 1-1. And for Chase Luttrell, strikeouts continue to be a problem. Leads the team with total strikeouts. Grand total of 20 on the season. The 1-1 to Luttrell, grounded sharply up the middle into center field, a base hit. Chase Luttrell with a 2-hit day and a 1-out single on the top of the 7th inning for YD.
Number 5, Pascal Ferreras.
That's just the third, that's actually the 4th multi-hit game for Luttrell this season. He had a 3-for-4 day against Wareham on the road. And a 7-1 loss, and from there it was 2 hits against Brewster, 2 hits against Harwich, and now 2 hits today against Chatham on the road, and Pascal Ferreras takes a big home run cut for strike 1 on the elevated fastball. So it's Luttrell on first after the 1-out single. No balls and 1 strike to Pascal Ferreras, who is 0-for-2 on the day, was hit by a pitch in the first. Ferreras checked his swing, strong wrist, didn't go. The high fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike now. And the big thing with Pascal Ferreras that really hasn't come to fruition today was, has he turned the corner? As Luttrell takes off for a second, the throw down over to the bag is not in time. It trickles into center field, and Chase Luttrell slides in safely with his 2nd swipe of the day.
He's not afraid to steal bases. His ability to run, his aggression on the base paths is something that's pretty impressive by Chase Luttrell. He's able to motor around the base paths at a high level. He's aggressive, and if you saw his lead off of first base, he looked like he was getting ready to run.
And Ferreras grounds it to the left side, over to short. Rivera backhands in, on to first in time for out number 2, and Chase Luttrell advances to third, running on contact. So now with 2 outs, a runner on third, and Whitey up by 4, and they scored 5 runs in the first inning. To say it was a statistical shock would be an understatement. On the road, Whitey averages fewer than 2.5 runs per game. This is a team who has only won 2 games and lost 2, tied once on the road. First pitch fastball is inside to the lefty Drew Compton, the switch hitter Drew Compton, that is. Compton is 1 for 3 on the day, had the 2-run double in the first inning. And another fastball, this one skips in the dirt for ball 2.
And the runs have been scarce on the road. I mean, you double your run production in the first inning compared to 2.5 runs. They got 5 in the first inning. The runs really have been rough on the road, but the bats, it was really impressive to see how they were able to jump on Chatham early and not look back.
Drew Compton, the switch hitter from Georgia Tech, facing Falco, and the big righty goes to the curveball for the first time, and it misses outside for ball 3. So YD all of a sudden on the brink of drawing their 3rd walk of the day. The 3-0 to Compton, right down the middle for strike 1. Walks have been a bit of an issue for Falco in his last 2 appearances. In 2 2/3, he has 4 walks. And the fastball on the outer half for strike 2. So from 3-0 to 3-2, with 2 outs and a runner on third, Whitey up by 4 in the top of the 7th inning. Andrew Compton, 4 for 26 on the year. Payoff pitch is taken down the middle, strike 3 called, and Compton knew it. Slumped shoulders on the slow walk back to the dugout for Compton. Backwards K in the books. And in the middle of the 7th inning, it's Whitey 6 and Chatham 2 right here on the Whitey Red Sox Baseball Network. This break is brought to you by Devidime. Hey fans, Devidime is the official website development company of the Whitey Red Sox. They designed and developed our League Best website and helped us with marketing to bring more fans to the games and more people to our website. Devidime helps organizations generate more leads and maximize their marketing budget. Check out devidime.com to learn more, and be sure to like Devidime on Facebook. That's DEVADIGM.com. Bottom of the 7th on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, and the Red Sox lead the Anglers 6-2 alongside Will Connerly on Brad Klein. Enter Jarrett Godman in his 2nd inning of work, got 2 crucial outs in the 6th inning in relief of Nick Domkowski, who is absolutely phenomenal. As Godman misses low and away on the first pitch breaking ball to Andrew Benefield, who's 1 for 2 on the day. 1 ball, no strikes to Benefield, the leadoff batter of the 7th inning, but Domkowski went 5 1/3, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 2 walks and 6 strikeouts, and somewhat obviously, Godman did his job, got 2 outs, 2 batters. Chatham only has 2 hits to their name, and one of them came on a long ball from Lyle Miller Green in the 1st inning. And the 2-0 from Godman misses low for ball 3. So Jared Godman all of a sudden having trouble commanding the zone.
I mean, you could say statistically Nick Domkowski's been the most impressive starting pitcher for the Red Sox this season.
And the 2-0 from Godman make that 3-0 down the middle for strike 1.
Now, if you talk to our scout liaison, he thinks, okay, some guys got better stuff than him, but his statistics, I mean, they've shown, they speak, the numbers don't lie.
Benefield swings and misses through the fastball. 2-2 the count. Well, Domkowski with that changeup, that's his marquee pitch. Worked wonders today. And the payoff pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. Benefield goes down for out number 1 in the 7th inning. So the scoreboard operator deking me out here. 3 balls, 2 balls, what is it? Doesn't matter. It's 3 strikes on Benefield and 3 outs recorded for Jared Godman today. 1 away in the 7th inning. Brings up Logan Britt, the right fielder, 0 for 2, 2 flyouts.
And the thing with pitching is you can have all the best stuff in the world, but the name of the game is getting outs. Can you get outs or not? And Nick Domkowski has got outs at a high level, his 3rd consecutive quality start for YD here on the Cape.
Logan Britt checked his swing, didn't matter. It's right down the middle for strike 1, a fastball, and Jared Godman pitching unlike many other pitchers that we've seen YD throw out there, in that he's using that fastball early in the count, and Scott Pickler loves to call his breaking balls early in the count.
He just loves a breaking ball in general. Yeah.
And breaking ball misses inside, count even at 1-1. The slider with too much slide. 1 away, no one on. Bottom of the 7th inning, Chatham down by 4. And Logan Britt avoids the fastball inside by the ankles for ball 2. So there it is again. And Jared Godman, you have to pitch to your strength. That's a crucial detail. I was talking to Cody Huff, who's now catching Godman, and he said that is the number one thing that pitchers have to do, is worry about themselves. And from there, they can take a look at the scouting report and really dissect what they should throw. But basically, he described it as limit yourself to a pitch bank, a word bank, if you will, in that I'm only going to throw these pitches and then whittle it down based on the batter that you're facing, as the count is now even at 2-2 as Logan Britt golfs it down the left field line and out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes now as the changeup misses low. So Jared Godman working from the stretch with no one on. And takes a second to step off the mound and clap his 2 hands together. He was not happy with the location of that last changeup. Godman comes set, kicks and deals. Payoff pitch, popped foul, out of play. So we'll do it again. Jared Godman, 22 pitches, only 11 strikes thrown. So Chatham's been working the count pretty well and trading blows with him, but nothing to show for it. And the changeup misses by the ankles, ball 4. So a 1-out walk for Logan Britt, the first time he's aboard today. And Dominic Tamez, the DH, at the dish for Chatham, down by 4 in the bottom of the 7th.
From the University of South Carolina, number 6, David Mendham.
I'll scratch that. Tamez out of the game, and David Mendham will take his place as a pinch hitter. So Tamez's day is done, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And David Mendham from South Carolina, originally from Dorchester, Ontario, a rising senior, and transferred to South Carolina from Connors State Community College. Runner on first, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. And Mendham grounds it foul towards the YD dugout on the right side.
And you mentioned Godman was getting into deep counts. Nothing to show for it until that free pass right there, but that's what happens when you consistently go deep in the count. You have to work harder and harder. You get more fatigued, and it's hard to keep your focus, especially when you're throwing so many more pitches with the deep counts.
The 0-1 to Mendham misses low, count even now at 1-1. Well, focus seemed to be a problem for Godman in his last outing. 2/3 of an inning, 2 runs, both earned, 5 hits, 1 walk, no strikeouts. And it was a complete night and day change from his previous outing on June 26th, 4 days prior. 4 innings, got the win, 3 hits, no runs allowed, and 1 walk. 2 strikeouts for Jared Godman, 2 balls and 1 strike now. He's really consistently missing low to David Mendham now.
And Godman is someone who's shifted his mechanics a decent amount, and he also works from different arm angles. And when you do that, sometimes it's hard to find a consistent release point.
Also hard for the hitters to find a consistent release point as well, as that one skied to left center field and caught by Peyton Graham out in center field for out number 2.
The shortstop, the University of Florida, number 24, Josh
So
Rivera.
2 away for Josh Rivera, the shortstop, 0 for 2 on the day. And Jared Godman working with a base runner for the first time. A 1-out walk issued to Logan Britt in the bottom of the 7th inning as Chatham needs more Logan Britts. They need more base runners, down by 4. First pitch fastball taken for a strike. Had Josh Rivera trying to sell it inside by lifting up his arms and saying, hey, I had to avoid that one, but the home plate umpire, Ronaldo Cockrum, not buying it. Wyatt Hoffman, the second baseman, shaded up the middle. The 0-1 to Rivera, taken in on the inside corner for strike 2, and the same thing where Cockrum kind of avoided the pitch that was in the strike zone on the inner half, and Jared Godman really owning that side of the plate right now.
If I were Godman, I'd come inside once more, especially with a guy like Rivera standing right on the plate. That's what you're going to get.
Mendham with an aggressive lead, he takes off, and that one is socked to deep center field. A one hops the wall, falls for a base hit. Peyton Graham fields it cleanly, and on his way to score is David Mendham. He goes first to home, an RBI double for Josh Rivera, and Chatham has life in the bottom of the 7th.
And Rivera, 0-2 count. You're coming inside twice. Rivera is someone who stands right on the plate, and is able to get the double. But Godman didn't challenge him on the 0-2 pitch, was more out in front. And for a guy who stands on the plate, that's right in his wheelhouse. Even if it's a 0-2 count, the 2 strikes that he got on the inside corner, you want to come even more inside, busting the guy's kitchen, especially if he's standing right on the plate, and just missed the pitch. That's what he was trying to do, but left it over the middle.
2 outs and a runner on second for Caden Trenkle. Jared Godman giving up a run in consecutive appearances now. And the breaking ball settles into the zone for strike 1. No action in the Red Sox bullpen, so this inning belongs to Godman. Just 3 hits, but 3 runs for Chatham, 6 runs on 11 hits for YD. In the bottom of the 7th, Chatham down by 3, 2 outs, an 0-1 count to Caden Trenkle. Big swing and a miss for strike 2.
Yeah, and there's going to be you'd think, another YD pitcher to come out and finish the final 2 frames, but no action, as you mentioned, so you're interested to see how long they let Godman go in this outing.
The Oklahoma State Cowboy, Caden Trenkle, hitting from the left side. And the 0-2 is fouled. Back to the screen. Trenkle 4 for 29 on the season as an angler. Has yet to really find his footing. Hit .268 this past year at Oklahoma State. Jared Godman stays put on the rubber from the stretch, gets the sign from Cody Huff, and steps off as Josh Rivera scurries back to second base. No balls, 2 strikes. YD up by 3 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Godman, slide step delivery, change up just off.
Just 1 pitch away. Godman looking to get out of some trouble, working after Rivera had the double. How can he respond here? Lets up the double on an 0-2 pitch. Wants to turn around. He's got 2 strikes here. just wants to get out of this frame and protect this 3-run lead now that YD has.
Rivera on second base. Caden Trankel, the rising sophomore from Oklahoma State, will wait his turn as Rivera goes back to second base. Jarrett Godman steps off the rubber. Godman has thrown 34 pitches. This will be number 35. And the 1-2. Popped foul out of play. So Jarrett Godman, who had a 4.88 ERA this past year at Oklahoma. A battle between the two Sooners. A Sooner on the mound and a Cowboy from the Sooner State at the plate. And Godman checks back at second base. Again, Rivera diving back safely. A nice snag by the shortstop Ferreras to keep that ball going from into center field.
I didn't face him. I actually had a 1-2-3 and all flew out on me.
Still a ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Rivera not giving up an inch on second base. The 1-2 misses low for ball 2. So Caden Trankel sticking around. If he can keep the line moving, it would be Maxwell Romero, the catcher. The Red Sox lead by 3. Jarrett Godman came in, recorded 2 outs in the 6th inning, struck out the first batter in the 7th, a walk, and then an RBI double by Josh Rivera. The 2-2 misses high. It stands up Cody Huff, the catcher. And all of a sudden, the count is full with 2 outs, and Rivera will have a head start from second base. Godman not wasting much time checking back Rivera. He's locked in on the side from Cody Huff. Comes set at the belt. Payoff pitch is driven to deep right field, slicing foul. Well, Caden Trankel gave it a ride. If it was fair, it was trouble, and potentially out of the shortened 314-foot porch out in right field. The 10th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Staring contest between Caden Trankel, the hitter, and Jarrett Godman, the hurler. And the payoff pitch. Swung on, grounded over to first. It's fielded by Baez. He stomps on the bag in time. Sign retired. 1 run, 1 hit, and 1 left on. At the end of 7, it's 6 for YD and 3 for Chatham right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Top of the 8th inning right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, and the Red Sox in the driver's seat. They lead 6-3 over the Anglers in Veterans Field, Chatham, Massachusetts. David Falco on in his second inning of work and misses on the first pitch fastball by the shins of Zach Liu, who's really come on with a 2-hit game for a YD. Once upon a time, he was 0 for 14. Not the case anymore. Broke that skid yesterday with a single, and now his first multi-hit game as a Red Sox. And he skies it out of play on the second pitch fastball. Count even at 1-1. And David Falco from Maryland rises the fastball to the brow of Liu. He chases a ball and 2 strikes, and it's really hard to lay off of anything that Falco throws you, just because of his size and the reach he has at 6'4", 240 pounds. If you're interested, the average height and weight of an MLB pitcher, 6'3", 215 pounds.
So he's got the frame.
Oh, he's got it, and then some. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Liu watches the breaking ball outside. And Liu cracks it to shallow left field. That falls for a base hit. Welcome to the YD Red Sox, the new version of Zach Liu. 3 for 4 on the day and a leadoff single in the top of the 8th.
And this is the Zach Liu that everyone was talking about when he arrived on the Cape. Had a slow start, but a 3-hit performance and the coming out party for Mr. Liu. He's shown the glove all season, but now getting the lumber going and has himself a 3-hit performance. Nice job for Liu, but how about a dozen hits now for YD? They've been using the bats at a high level today.
So Zach Liu on first. He fakes the steal, and Tanner Smith watches the first pitch fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Quick drive around the CCBL. The Wareham Gatemen picking up the win over the Cotuit Kettleers, 5-2. And Falmouth trouncing Brewster, 14-2 on the road. They only played 8 innings. In the bottom of the 7th, we're tied at 2 apiece between Bourne and Orleans. And right here, YD leading Chatham by 3. The Red Sox sit atop the East Division by 2 points over Brewster. As the runner goes, Liu takes off for second. The throw down is in time by a country mile. Maxwell Romero dials it up from home to second, and Liu was a sitting duck for out number 1.
Talk about a pop time right there. He got up and gunned down Liu. Quick pop time right there. That was a cannon right there. A perfect throw, perfect tag. And you mentioned a country mile. I mean, there was no chance for Liu there. That was a perfect throw by Romero.
As Smith smacks it to left field, that drops for a base hit, and Zach Liu kicking himself in the dugout. Tanner Smith with a hard turnaround first, and a 1-out single for the Oregon product. Zach Liu could have been on second base 1 pitch later. It looked like a loose slid, but it felt like a courtesy slide. He had no business sliding. He wasn't going to make it with or without that slide. Just felt like, all right, well, I'm here. I might as well just try to get under this tag, which won't happen.
And that was a very impressive pop time right there. We've seen Cody Huff do it a few times, but it was Romero who just popped up and then a frozen rope to second base.
1 ball and no strikes now to Peyton Graham. Watches the changeup off the plate. Back-to-back singles to start off the 8th. Whitey only has 1 base runner to show for it. 1 out after Zach Liu was caught trying to steal second. And Peyton Graham watches the fastball. 1-1 the count with 1 out. And YD leading by 3 in the top of the 8th inning. Peyton Graham doubled in the first and is since hitless. Grounder up the middle, could be 2. Flip from second by Soretti, rifles over to first, and no, the throw was faked by Rivera on the relay, so it's a 4-6 fielder's choice. Peyton Graham turned on the burners from home to first to avoid the double play.
Number 3, Wyatt Hoffman.
So no throw thanks to the speed of Peyton Graham. 2 outs and a runner on first for Wyatt Hoffman as YD leads by 3. Top of the 8th inning.
I don't. I want to just call my yard card because I'm up.
David Falco delivers a first pitch fastball for strike 1. sophomore at Maryland. And we could talk about his size all we want, but for Chatham, he struggled a little bit. Broken bat dribbler down the third base line. Wyatt Hoffman busting it down the first base line, and a barehanded play by Benefield was in time but unable to make the play as Lyle Miller Green. It goes in and out of his mitt, and they rule it an infield single for Wyatt Hoffman. Runners on first and second with 2 outs for the 3-hitter Nate Baez.
Now we get to talk about Wyatt Hoffman a little more. A 3-hit game for the young man, and continues to get hits.
But like popcorn, it just flew out of Benefield's mitt, and that was a spot, or rather, Miller Green's mitt. It was a spot-on throw by Benefield.
Yeah, it just dropped out. So it hit the mitt, and then
almost
just
like he didn't close his mitt in time.
But they ruled a hit. Wyatt Hoffman will gladly take it. When we talked to him after his...
And the throw was in time, it should be noted. The throw beat Hoffman
that's noted for sure.
By about a step and a half.
Yeah.
2 outs, Hoffman on first, and Tanner Smith make it Peyton Graham on second base. Baez leads off the fastball upstairs for ball 1. So David Falco now forced to get 4 outs, arguably 5. He got the ground ball with 1 out on Peyton Graham to second base. It could have been 2 had the ball gotten out of Soretti's mitt a little quicker. And then the would have been error based on another scorer on Lyle Miller Green, ruled an infield single. Resuscitates the inning for YD. 1 ball, 1 strike to Nate Baez, the Arizona State Sun Devil. Change up on the outer half. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Baez is 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts, a walk in the second, and a ground out in the 5th. Red Sox up by 3. Runners go, and Baez grounds it sharply over to short. Fielded by Rivera. On to first in time. Side retired. Well, YD comes up empty-handed, no runs on 3 hits and 2 left on. In the middle of the 8th, it's still the Red Sox up by 3 right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Bottom of the 8th on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Alongside Will Connerly, I'm Brad Klein, and the Red Sox lead the Anglers 6-3. Enter Andrew Marrero, the hard-throwing righty from UConn, whose ERA is 8.10, all thanks to the Chatham Anglers. In his last appearance on July 2nd here at Veterans Field, he gave up 3 runs, 2 earned in an inning in the third. It was probably the worst we've seen Andrew Marrero throw, and this is a guy who has scouts chirping with their radar guns too, a guy who sits at 95 on good days, and first pitch fastball just below the knees for ball 1.
Has a good fastball, but he really didn't use it much against Chatham last time. He threw a lot of sliders, lost a little bit of his command with his pitches, so excited to see how he approaches this outing.
And the lefty Maxwell Romero pops it foul out of play to the third base side, count even at 1-1. Knowing Marrero, like we've gotten to know him on and off the field, you can tell that he's eager to get back at it again here at Veterans Park against the Anglers, Veterans Field that is. And the slider is taken for strike, or rather ball 2, just off the plate. So the home plate umpire, Ronaldo Cockrum, makes a borderline call that Marrero wasn't happy with, takes a step off the mound and regains his breath. The 2-1 from Marrero. Slider again, this one he gets the call, 2-2.
He goes 83 miles an hour with his slider and about 93 miles an hour with the fastball, mixing speeds, and that's the main mix you see from Marrero.
Romero, the lefty from Vanderbilt, 0 for 2 today. And the 2-2 misses way high. Cody Huff couldn't corral it. It hits the backstop on a fly. Fastball, not very pretty. And with that, Cody Huff wants to have a word with Marrero.
Yeah, it just completely slipped out of his hand and went to the backstop, it looked like. And a nice job by Cody Huff. He kind of noticed, sometimes a catcher can notice a little mechanical issue. Hey, I noticed that you did this right there, and you just completely missed on that pitch. And wants to have a quick conference with him and talk and try to iron out and see if Marrero can't make the quick adjustment here.
The Red Sox have 14 hits to generate 6 runs. Chatham has 3 runs on just 3 hits. The count is full to Max Romero, the catcher. And from the windup, the payoff pitch is foul down the first base line, so we'll do it again. And Andrew Marrero looked like he channeled every little ounce of muscle he had into that one. Pitching from the windup, there's a lot of movement in his delivery. A lot of pre-pitch movement, that is. Gets settled, the payoff pitch again. Fastball popped up, out of play, our direction. And over our heads, oof, off the shoulder of a retreating fan.
Really?
Now, so much for running. If you're going to run, you better get out of the way. If you're going to stick around, you better catch it. There are only 2 outcomes there.
Well, also a coupon. If you get a foul ball, you can turn it in for a coupon.
Payoff pitch, and the slider got him chasing for strike number 3 and out number 1. Maxwell Romero down on strikes for the second time today. What, do you work here now? Trying to give off these coupons?
Well, no, I know that is an incentive if a kid wants some ice cream or
okay.
a
All I
snow
can say
cone.
is it's a tough look. If you're going to be the guy that runs away, then you better accomplish your mission in not getting hit. That's the whole point of running away.
Well, it's a good lesson for the kids to learn perseverance, fight through the crowd.
Bravery. Andrew Marrero gets his first out. Now it's time to flip the lineup card, and Danny Soretti, the second baseman, at the dish for the 4th time today. 2 strikeouts to his name and a ground out as well. 1 ball, no strikes as the fastball misses low. Soretti, the left-handed hitter, watches the fastball just off the plate for ball 2.
And this is what the back end of the pen shapes up to be for YD. Marrero and Culpepper back in the back end. And winning close games, that's been YD's formula this year.
And the switch hitter hitting from the left side, swings and misses at the fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Berkeley Heights, New Jersey native. A rising junior at UNC, and the Tar Heel At 6'1", 195, played his high school ball with Drew Compton at Governor Livingston in Jersey. Fouls the fastball back to the screen, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A high school All-American, Danny Soretti had a lot of hype going into UNC as a middle infielder. Checked his swing on the slider in the dirt, went around, dropped third strike, and Cody Huff on to first in time for out number 2 and the second consecutive strikeout for Andrew Marrero.
He's looked good out of the bullpen and responding in this outing in a great way. After he didn't have the best performance last time, he comes out of the bullpen, and as a reliever, the life of a reliever can be tough. You have a bad outing, you don't know when you're going to get another opportunity, and if you do, it's just one frame sometimes as a setup guy. But he's having a great outing right now with 2 consecutive strikeouts to begin the frame.
And for better or for worse, good outing or not, Andrew Marrero has multiple strikeouts in each of his now 4 appearances as a Red Sox. 1 ball, no strikes. The slider misses outside. Deja vu, 2 balls and no strikes. 2 consecutive wide sliders to Jack DeLeo, the left fielder, who's 0 for 2 on the day with a walk in the 3rd. 9 strikeouts for Chatham as a team. And Marrero from the windup deals fastball off the plate, 3 balls and no strikes to DeLeo. And I mentioned before that Marrero has a lot of pre-pitch movement during windup movement, and right now he's just getting settled on the rubber, moves his arms to readjust his sleeves. Those little intricacies, and he moves his body a lot. Get me over a fastball, does just that, 3 balls and 1 strike. And you have to wonder how much that might play into his endurance and his ability to go deep. Not something that he did very often at UConn, and for good reason. He was their back-end reliever. Fouled back to the screen on the 3-1, so from 3-0 to 3-2, Andrew Marrero climbs back into this count with Jake DeLeo.
Yeah, you see a lot of starting pitchers are more calm, but a lot of the relievers can get that funk into their delivery a little bit.
Herky-jerky as he settles onto the rubber. Now he comes set to get the sign from Cody Huff, and DeLeo wants time to throw off his already weird timing for Andrew Marrero. The wind is really settled down at Veterans Field. In the bottom of the 8th, the payoff pitch is grounded to the right side. Ranging to his right is Baez. Flips it over to first for a covering Marrero, and he stomps on the bag in time. Side retired. No runs, no hits, 2 strikeouts, no one left on. At the end of 8, it's YD 6 and Chatham 3 right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network in the top of the 9th inning, it's YD 6 and Chatham 3. And Cody Huff leading off the frame for the Red Sox, already with 2 hits on the day. David Falco working in his 3rd inning of relief for Chatham. The big righty from Maryland, Cody Huff, has really come on as unequivocally the best catcher on this team right now. Right now. As he takes strike one at the knees. Had the RBI single and scored a run in the first inning and singled in the fifth. Also lined out to right in the seventh his last time up as he grounds it sharply down the third base line and foul by a foot. He lined out sharply to right in his last time up in the seventh inning, and that one he really hit on the nose. You could make the argument it was the best contact he's ever made in this game at least. And Matthew Hogan, by the way, comes in to replace Logan Britt out in right field. Huff goes down twirling for out number one on the off-speed pitch by David Falco. So Huff is retired for out number one. Brings up Chase Luttrell, who's had himself a game. 3 hits on the day. And he grounds it foul on the first pitch fastball. Chase Luttrell with his second 3-hit game as a Red Sox. The first came in his debut. And the Long Beach State dirtbagger takes the fastball on the outer half of the plate for strike two. David Falco trying to settle in here. Gave up 3 hits in the last inning, but worked around that. Didn't give up a single run. Windy scored 5 of their 6 in the first. And Luttrell observes the fastball off the plate and high for ball one. From there, they scored another run in the 6th inning. Came on a sac fly RBI from Peyton Graham to center field. That drove in Zach Liu. Chatham has scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third, and 1 in the 7th. And Luttrell is now even with Falco at 2-2. The 2-2 to Luttrell. Grounded up the middle, but slowly. Charging in Rivera. He can't get the ball out of his mitt, and Chase Luttrell is aboard on first base with 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. And they rule it an infield single for Chase Luttrell. So once again, Chase Luttrell, by the way, correction, reached on a walk in the first inning, so that would be his 3rd hit of the day. Either way, a great day for Chase Luttrell. Pascal Ferreras at the dish with 1 out, and the chin music for ball one. Falco made 14 appearances out of the bullpen as a redshirt freshman in 2021, tossed 18 innings, struck out 4 in his Maryland debut against Rutgers. Ferreras pops it up, deep right field, slicing into foul territory, and it's foul. But man, that one kept on carrying and carrying. It could have been gone if it was fair.
Matthew Hogan, he traveled a long way. I mean, went all the way to the corner from right field, and it was just over the fence and foul territory. But Hogan, he hustled to try to see if he could make a play out there.
So a ball and 1 strike to Pascal Ferreras. Runner goes, Chase Luttrell on his way to second. He slides in safely. Have yourself a day, Chase Luttrell. 3 singles and now 3 stolen bases for the outfielder.
His ability to run is very impressive for a power-hitting first baseman, outfielder. He's not afraid to run, and I like his aggressiveness.
All right, now, if Chase Luttrell gets a single, statistically speaking, it becomes a double. 3 balls and a strike to Ferreras now. With 1 out in the top of the 9th inning, Whitey up 6-3. Ferreras chops it, or rather lines it over to the left side, and unable to make the backhanded play is Rivera. It trickles into left field. Runners on the corners with 1 out for YD. Still up by 3 in the 9th inning.
And in his career for Chase Luttrell, had 9 career stolen bases, and 7 times he was caught stealing in 108 career games. So not very good. If you're stealing 9 bags and getting caught 7 times, that's not efficient at all. But 3 stolen bases today, impressive for Luttrell after just having 9 in his career in 108 games at Long Beach State.
So now Drew Compton's day is done. He's been replaced by a pinch hitter, and you might as well just call him Chatham's worst nightmare, Briley Knight. Going into this game, all of the Red Sox runs had been scored off the bat of Briley Knight, all in the second inning. And Knight takes a big swing and a miss at the fastball. 0-1 the count with 1 out, and runners on the corners for Briley Knight. David Falco working from the stretch. Knight had an RBI double, a 3-run bases-clearing double in the second inning of Whitey's first matchup with Chatham, a 3-2 win at Red Wilson Field. And then had the only RBI in that second inning in the second meeting with Chatham at Veterans Park. Tries to lay down a bunt and fouls it back to the screen as both runners were in motion. So Briley Knight has channeled anything but small ball leading up to this outing against Chatham and tries to go small ball there. Now it's 0-2 with 1 out. Runners on the corners, top of the 9th inning. Whitey 6, Chatham 3. And Knight swings and misses on the fastball for out number 2.
Knight coming off the bench is only at bat, and he sees big right-hander throwing low 90s, and he blows the fastball right by him. That's always tough coming off the bench. You have no information about the pitcher. Hadn't seen him before, although it's late in the game, and especially with Chatham, who rotates their pitchers in and out. Knight was blown away by the heater.
Brings up Zach Liu. Lays off the slider for ball 1. Liu has 3 hits today, including an RBI single in the first inning. Scored a run in the 6th. A ball and no strikes, runners on the corners, 2 outs. Liu lays off the fastball, low below the zone, 2-0. So David Falco has been worked pretty hard, 2 2/3, and has thrown 55 pitches for Chatham in relief. 3 balls and no strikes now. David Falco has lost his slider, and Zach Liu knows it. It missed outside, and Liu didn't even flinch with his hands. Rain starts to drizzle down at Veterans Field. And the 3-0, Liu taking all the way. It slices the outside portion of the zone. 3 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. David Falco came into this game with 3 1/3 under his belt. And now as Liu pops it up to the infield, David Falco has pitched 3 innings of relief, nearly doubling his previous total. Side retired, Zach Liu is human, and he stays at 3 hits. 3 for 5 on the day, 2 runners stranded. In the middle of the 9th, it's all up to Chatham as they trail by 3, right here on the Whitey Red Sox Baseball Network. In the bottom of the ninth, it's Chatham down by 3. 3, 4, and 5 due up in the order for the Anglers. 6-3, the Red Sox lead, and on to nurse that lead is C.J. Culpepper for the save. Thought he would pitch yesterday in YD's 5-4 win. He was warming up for quite a while and was red hot, but never got in the game. Instead, Reed McLaughlin recorded the 2-inning save. First pitch slider to Lyle Miller Green, taken at the knees for strike one.
And Culpepper knows how to close a door. He's been lights out for YD this year.
3 2/3 innings pitched, no runs allowed. No hits allowed either. Miller Green lines it down the right field line, slicing foul. Nearly extra bases on C.J. Culpepper. And he comes back. A 45-foot walk, or rather 45-foot saunter. Disappointed that he just could not get around that pitch. So no balls and 2 strikes. On Lyle Miller Green, who homered in the first inning and is since 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Miller Green watches the changeup low. C.J. Culpepper, the junior from Cal Baptist, at 6'3", 205. Absolutely untouchable so far. Miller Green changes that. A single into left field to start the 9th inning. So C.J. Culpepper is human. Gives up the first hit of his young YD career, and all of a sudden Chatham is cooking in the bottom of the 9th.
I would think that would be more of a Philly thing.
Yeah, Culpepper has been really solid, does surrender his first hit. Still looking to come out and get the save.
Here's Andrew Benefield, who singled in the 4th inning, 1 for 3 on the day. Slider misses way outside for ball 1. So the good news for YD is that C.J. Culpepper's on the mound, and he knows what he's doing. Has 1 of the 4 saves for the Red Sox this year. The bad news is, potentially bad news, there's no one in the bullpen behind him. This inning belongs to Culpepper. Slider, slap to right field, but right at Latrelli. Backpedals to make the catch. That ball had some late life on it, but he caught up for out number 1.
Another nice play made by Luttrell. He had to wait, read it, and then notice it had some movement on it, and he went to go make the play. It's the 4th ball he's caught in right field today.
And Luttrell has had some interesting activity out in Veterans Field's right field. Made an error in the last game. Just lost it in the fog, he said. Really just never saw the baseball. Very clear day today, though, under the lights. 1 out in the bottom of the 9th for Logan Britt, the right fielder. Lyle Miller Green on first base, and a big wave by Britt for strike 1 on the changeup. So C.J. Culpepper seems to be settling in now. Infield at double play depth. No balls and a strike. And the fastball skips low. Cody Huff can't corral it. It's still loose by the backstop. Oh, scratch that. A hit batsman. So Cody Huff, he knew it. It went off the toe of the left-handed batter, Logan Britt, and he's on first base. First and second now with 1 out for David Mendham.
Now batting for Chatham, the designated hitter.
YD and Culpepper, they're trying to beat the rain as well. It's starting to come down just a little bit.
Mendham from South Carolina came in as a pinch hitter for Dominic Temez in the 7th, but flew out to center. He represents the tying run, and the left-handed power hitter David Mendham, always a threat. Britt on first, Benefield, or rather Miller Green on second, and the elevated fastball misses high for ball 1. Actually, Matthew Hogan on first base. He came in as a defensive sub for Britt. Culpepper working from the stretch. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th. YD up by 3, and the breaking ball is in there for strike 1. YD is 1-1 against Chatham this year. The 1 loss came at Veterans Field. Fastball at the knees for strike 2.
And Culpepper looked to get a ground ball here with ahead in the count. Come inside with the fastball and try to end the game with a ground ball double play.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hogan on first, Miller Green on second. David Mendham, the left-handed hitter from South Carolina at the dish, wagging his bat, ready for the 1-2 offering. It sails outside, and Cody Huff snags it before it goes to the backstop, and both runners advance. A 6-3 ball game in the bottom of the 9th. Chatham scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third, and 1 in the 7th. YD scored in bulk in the first inning, 5 runs, and then another in the 6th. Culpepper from the belt, the 2-2. Fastball misses just off for ball 3. So David Mendham very selective there. A tough take on 2 strikes, and CJ Culpepper steps off to catch his breath. A guy who's emerged very quickly as one of the premier back-end relievers that YD has to offer. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Culpepper gets the sign from Huff. And with 1 out, the payoff pitch on the way. A broken bat, ground ball up the middle, could be 2. Hoffman over to short, on to second, and on to first. It's a double play. 4-6-3, the relay, a pitcher's best friend, and that'll do it. The YD Red Sox, they win again, 6-3 your final. They improve to 7-3-4 on the year and keep a chokehold on first place in the East, 2-1 on the season against the Anglers of Chatham.
And to start off the 4-game road stand, YD, they were suspect offensively on the road, but now that's a great way to start the road stand, their 3rd victory in a row. A great job by the Red Sox, and like you mentioned, atop of the East Division, and they're continuing to pile up the wins, playing really good baseball right now.
The YD Red Sox have now won 3 in a row. 3 in a row since losing to Chatham on this field on July the 2nd. And their next matchup is on the road against Harwich on Thursday. Off day tomorrow. And YD has to be feeling themselves. This was a good win. It was the first inning and the first inning only, but that's all they needed.
It's all they needed, and the bats came out after averaging just 2.5 runs on the road. This season, they come out in a great way, and they're able to put it to Chatham. They buried Chatham early. That's all they needed, as you mentioned, and to start the 4-game road stretch, nice job. And back at it on Thursday to try to continue to keep playing good baseball. Coach Pickler has the YD Red Sox on a roll right now.
Back at it on Thursday. First pitch at 6:30 in Harwich. We'll be with you for the pregame show at 6:20. Cam Schlittler, the probable for the Mariners. The second time the Red Sox are seeing him, and it could be a Zach Franklin day for the second time this season, his second start from Western Carolina. That'll do it for Will Connolly. I'm Brian Klein, signing off from the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. 6-3 your final. YD wins again.